Okay, folks. Move this over here. This is going to be a couple of VoD reviews back to back, actually, of T1's recent series, because they've looked like they are a little bit vulnerable. Now, we've done a lot of VoD reviews of T1, and I know that's I know that some people out there want to see more varied reviews and they want to see more teams, so I figured I'd say why I'm doing T1 games. One, because people like them. Bluntly, I'm doing this off of my own back and my own time. The fact that people like it means that it's more valuable to me because more people see what I'm doing and it feels like more people get value out of it. Doesn't mean I won't do other VoD reviews as well. At some point, I'm going to go through some more LEC VoD reviews. I might do some LPL ones too, but because I'm normally doing them on stream or on cast, I've already kind of gone over those games once, so I'm learning less from them too. And that's another part of why I do these as well, is because from these kind of VoD reviews, I learn a lot because I am an LPL caster. I cast Chinese League of Legends, and we know how LPL versus T1 went last year. It is important to know the other teams around the world. In my eyes, for most of this split, T1 has been the best team in the world. If you immediately held a world championship right now, I feel like T1 would have come out on top. Now, that might not be the case after these last few games. They might have to do a bit more recovery because it feels like the last couple of series, from what I've heard at least, haven't been so smooth. So today we're going to go through T1 versus D+. If you're watching this on YouTube later, it probably means that I am going to be doing like 2 separate videos. So I'll be doing this one, and I'm going to go straight after to watch the games which happened today, where T1 lost a series versus HLE. So that will be something which is really important to work towards. So in this one, this was the series before the last one that they played today at time of recording this. God, my nose is literally, hay fever is really getting to me. So let's get into it. Patch 14.4, so it's not patch 14.5, with changed Smolder a little bit. And we can go through this a little bit. And because how many games? I think it's 4 games total. It means that, she knows. It means that I'm going to be putting it on a little bit higher speed, just so we can speed through some of this. And we'll have to see kind of what first pick priorities are. So obviously Smolder is pretty strong, but LCK has found ways around it before. I think particularly, Azir is global banned as well. That's important. You can't see that on here. Let me just move that up here. So, and also as well, it's worth noting that the Azir is global banned. I'm going to move my camera back down a bit just so I don't hide the player's face as much too. But it's worth just kind of noting that. It's a lot of mages away from Faker. Now, this is interesting, because typically Showmaker has done quite well into Faker, at least on a laning phase level. And it feels like Faker in the mage meta has been absolutely disgusting. You know, his Orianna play, his Corki play, obviously the Azir, which is now global banned as well, and then his Talia as well. Very, very strong. So with a lot of mages off the table, you start asking yourself, okay, so T1, they probably want to go towards something like that Talia if it's left open. I think with stuff like Kalista on the table too, that's also a pretty big kind of play towards as well. Now, Karma first pick. What does Karma do? Why is Karma being picked so much? We all pause it to talk about this because this will come up a lot. A lot of teams in different regions are first picking the Karma. Karma has been nerfed at this point. This isn't the strongest form of Karma, but what she does is allow you to play either double enchanters. So, you could go for something like a Lucian Milio or a Lucian Nami here. And you can have a Karma to buff up the AD carry twice rather than just the once, whilst also still having a pretty good amount of damage from the Karma. So Karma is a damaging champion, but she's also an enchanter without having to build something like a Moonstone or an Ardent Censer or something like that. So she kind of does everything. And when you're playing for big team fights with big AD carries, Karma means that your AD carry puts out like an extra 50%. You know, you have extra shields, the extra movement speed, your auto attack uptime is really good. So now you have to see what aiming is going to lock in that can benefit from a Karma in the mid lane as well. And there's also nothing that can really threaten Karma in a mid lane sense. So T1 take away that Lucian, which I think makes sense. We already talked about the Karma and the Karma Lucian actually being a nasty combo if you lock in something like the Lucian Milio. And instead they go towards the Smolder. Now, Smolder is a champion that wants to kind of outscale the game. Something like a Karma can bring the Smolder online a little earlier, though. So it's not going to be the Lucian Milio, because it's been taken away, but it's the Smolder Milio. I think you have to lock Talia here. Now, the reason you have to lock Talia is typically, why don't we see this combos as much? Why don't we see Smolder Milio? Because Milio doesn't stop you getting dove very early into the game. So typically we see Alistair, Braum, sometimes Nautilus as well with the Smolder, because trying to dive those champions means that you're locked up and you can't kill the tank very, very easily. And the way that you normally deal with Smolder is by shoving him in early with an aggressive bot lane, like the Lucian Nami, and then trying to just dive the Smolder so he's behind the game so he can't just outscale you. Because if you get towards the mid game and you have Rapid Fire Cannon, plus Milio, plus Karma Shields with the move speed and the extra everything on that, it means that Smolder gets to have incredible Q range, which can then poke you from very, very long range away. Smolder, his entire champion is about how do you Q from range. So looking through these second rounds bans now, because I was talking about the Smolder as much. D+ want to ban out mid junglers which can go bot side early and dive. I think Ari and Rel are very good at that, and I'm surprised they didn't ban out Talia. I think Talia is really valuable. I understand somewhat the Rel because you don't have a great amount of engage here. You have, between these three, you have Tidal Wave that engages. So later into the game, T1 are not going to have great ability to get AoE lock-up onto the enemy team. It's not that consistent. If you had something like a Rel, it can be. I think this is quite an easy Talia lock-in now, and then you potentially... Well, do you want to do that, or do you want to lock in Shinso? I think you want to lock in a jungler that can go bot side level 3, level 4, and just immediately mess with this lane. And then also at the level 6 mark as well for solo laners go bot side. So with Vi gone, they wouldn't even minded the Vi themselves actually. But I guess Vi into Lucian is good too because this is a very mobile carry. And on the other side here, right, in terms of D+, we talked about what T1 want. You're going to need some engage here because you have absolutely zero engage through these two. So now you don't have Vi or Sejuani. That's your two big engages in the jungle. With Rel gone as well, you're looking for kind of like... Wait, what are you looking for? Poppy is not great into the Lucian Nami. Has Maokai been nerfed on 14-4? You could go Maokai for Lucid. It's not the best early game jungler though. If you go for a Maokai here for Lucid on D+, I think that you just get smashed early game. So T1, I think they can lock in the Talia if they want, or they can go Shinsao, which is really good early 3v3. They go Talia. Right. Okay, so we've been calling that out throughout the entirety of the draft. In fact, actually, we called out the Talia as soon as the Smolder was locked in, because Talia is a champion that with Smolder, you either lock it in with the Smolder to protect him bot side, or you lock it in against the Smolder to dive him. It's one of the two things, right? It's kind of Talia just gets to go bot lane easier than other mid laners right now. So Maokai is locked in. And you lock in the Renekton to be... early game powerhouse and top side. That can be an earlier game threat than anyone else in this composition, because the problem is here is that you have four... I mean, the Karma's okay in early game, very good at one item. But like these three champions need a little bit of time, especially when Maokai is against something like a Shinsao, which you kind of... And there's a reason why D+ didn't go for the Shinsao, right? It's because they'd be left with no engage if they went towards that. They need the Maokai to help play their team fights later, so Smolder can actually be a champion. If Smolder doesn't have an engage or a frontline, it really sucks for him later. So T1, they have really big early game advantage, and they go for the Nocturne. So what you're saying is, we're not fighting at level 3 bot side, we're fighting at level 6 with the Nocturne Talia, where you can just fly onto someone who is out of position. It does mean there is less chance of shutting down the Milio Smolder early because you don't get to jump forward like a Shinsao and dive bot lane quite as easily. But that doesn't mean it's not a valuable pick, it just means that you're aiming at a slightly different area of the game than what we normally see against Smolder. So, obviously you look at this composition from D+, and it is every bit of damage in this composition is coming from this guy. There'll be a little bit from Showmaker and Karma, especially against a squishy squad as well. But, yeah, you know what? I take that back. Karma actually does some okay damage. She's just not big DPS. She has, like, one big burst from the Mantra Q, and then it gets a little bit messy beyond that point. Whereas on the other side, you're looking for one item spike here. You're looking for ultimates here to catch people out of position. And then then Aatrox, as we always talk from Zeus, is a huge flanking threat. T1, this game, it is much less about what we've seen from them in terms of them tracking the enemy jungler and then looking for big burst. Because your jungler can't really battle ward in the same way. Nocturne, he wants to be farming up. He doesn't really want to be going aggressively invading. I think a lot of this game is actually on fake to determine the pace of the game. Yeah, so I think T1 with the knockdown, they're focusing more towards like the end of early game and then into mid game rather than early game. One item spike from... Oh, hang on, I need to move my camera. I need to move my camera. I need to do that. I should remember to do that. I will forget otherwise. Okay. Cool. Chuck it in there. That'll work. That'll work. Okay, so... What are we thinking of here? What are we thinking of? So, there's a barrier and a heal. That's one of the bonuses of running an enchanter. Because you often get heal and shield power, you can run the heal summon a spell and it gets extra value out of that. There's no ignite down here either. You've gone for the cleanse because... I guess you... Oh, so this is the thing. So, typically... I'll slow this down a little bit. We'll slow down to 1.5. Lucian Nami is pretty bad versus Maokai. In the mid-game. In early game, Lucian Nami can brawl for forever. But in the mid-game, if you jump forward as Lucian looking for big trades because you want to use your big spikes against these two, then Maokai throws his ult at you, and you are in a very bad spot. So you take the cleanse just to make sure that your mid-game is better against the Maokai, and you can play around your 1 to 2 item spikes a little better. So we have opposite clearing from junglers. We can see that, you know, Maokai's going towards this way. Nocturne's flying down this side of the map as well. Full clear. No real angles into lanes. The setup isn't fantastic from any of these lanes, really. Anything else to talk about here? Rune choices are pretty standard. It's the first strike from Guma, which again makes sense here. You're looking for like the big ult combos later into the game. You get early wave control as the Lucian Nami, but you're not denying any farm. Any, in fact, actually. Oh, he gets... Okay, he loses 1. 2. Not too bad. A little bit of chip damage on tower as well. I think this game really comes online when Faker decides to make plays. I think Faker's the huge playmaker this game, really. Because he's the one that can actually create a numbers advantage just before 1 item spike as well. I even wonder whether Faker should go towards... Well, you're definitely going Seraphs because it's the best Lost Chapter item. But I wonder if Faker should go towards Seraphs and then go towards... maybe even a Zhonya's to just be heavy engage. You have a lot of damage on T1. You have an Aatrox top lane, which is good damage from top lane. You've got the Lucian, you've got Nocturne, which does some as well. If you start to dive forward very aggressively as Faker, I think you can use the... I think you can use Zhonya's to just be very aggressive and be an engaging threat. Ow. Karma. But yeah, I think that if you get up like stasis, it means that you can kind of jump into the enemy team, maybe tank a Maokai W or something like that while you're looking for the combo, and then hopefully the rest of your team will use that space to get stuff done. We're on to level 4s now through our second clear. You know, a little way off of what's happening here. Ah, this is something too, actually. So this is a bonus of what's happening from owner's clear. So grubs spawn at 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes is also when your camps start to come back up for your second clear. Because Lucis started on bot side, that means his Raptors were up, and also meant that his Krugs were down as well. Now T1 they ward out the second spawn of camps. They had a ward onto the Krugs there. Whereas Owner, his second camp spawns are up on the top side of the map, which means he can go from his first camps and then go immediately over to Krugs and see if there's an answer there. Problem is, Faker is reset and he isn't in lane to immediately... He isn't in lane to... Oh shit. Oops, no, let's not do that. Oopsies. Oopsies, I clicked the wrong button. I just completely flashbanged myself. He can't immediately walk from mid then to the Krugs. Not Krugs, the Grubs. So Owner, he tries to get something there. I think that... Ooh. Owie, nice. Burns the heal. But yeah, sadly, because Showmaker traded well against Faker earlier, which you kind of expect from Karma, it means that Owner can't really capitalize on second clear, or his first half of his second clear into the Grubs. Now what that means is D plus managed to... Oh, is there going to be fear into a combo? No, the combo was down. Okay, that's a shame. Because I think that T1, because they're playing against a Smolder and they have a Talia, they can play towards side lanes much more readily, right? And they can force towers and side lanes down a little easier, and if they have Grubs, that helps them a lot, because the Grubs are inherently very good for side laning. If you're hitting towers, they're very valuable, and if you can threaten D+ to not stand under their towers because they're afraid of like a Nocturne coming in with a Talia, then that can be a pretty big kind of difference maker. So you're getting a trade of Grubs for first Dragon. and that's fine. Mountain Dragon stats are always very valuable, especially when T1 are looking to dive quite heavily too. And again, I wonder whether Faker goes towards something like a Zhonya's second item. I mean, if he wants to play backline and bigger DPS, then that has value too. But I just wonder whether he wants to be more engaging, really. More about engage. Yeah, Showmaker has been doing a lot better. Major, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the chat. Oh, so on a, so I uploaded my last VoD reviews onto YouTube, and quite rightfully, someone said, "Yo, can you just silence your alert bot because it's really annoying when it's going off like a load of times per however long." So I've done that for this stream. I'll just be keeping an eye. So if I miss stuff, let me know. Oh, okay. What's happening with that? I mean, the Renekton and Aatrox matchup topside. You're realistically not getting solo kills in this matchup anymore. It's most of the time with kind of the Renekton, Cassante, Aatrox, you're not really getting solo kills, it's forcing ults. Someone like Jax kind of can, because Leap Strike is just such a busted ability. And he has a lot of turnaround damage kind of unexpectedly. Okay, so Faker has ults up now, so Showmaker needs to be doing his utmost to keep Faker in lane. If D+ can survive through to getting one item on Karma, and stop Smolder from getting dove even once in this early game, I think that this is really good. Ooh, let's slow this down. So this is why we were saying, hey, maybe T1 with Grubs later into the game can be very valuable, because of course they have the Nocturne ult to be in side lanes as well. Okay, so flash forward for the W. Ona goes on to the lower health Renekton, who can get, so he wants to get the fear onto him before he can flash forward for a follow-up stun. Maokai ult comes out. He doesn't have Dominus. Lethal Tempo. Oh. And this is a huge moment. This is a huge moment because we just said that when you have the Nocturne, you can play around the side lanes, but also part of that's Talia as well. So you have a wave, which is, I mean, let's count the minions. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You've got like 3 melees, 6 ranged with a cannon, whereas on the other side, it's just a full cannon wave, so 3, 3, and then 1 cannon. So that means that this wave is going to be slow pushing out, which means that Zeus, who is on, half HP, is in a really bad spot. He doesn't have teleport to come back into lane, so he needs to crash this wave. He doesn't have to do. It's going to slow push back. Kingen has like has his rage up as well. Rage is really, really nasty because if he gets an empowered W, then there's a chance that Zeus actually dies at this point as well, even through Tabby as well. Renekton's got some buffs on the recent patch as well to get some more Q healing. So Zeus's lane is in a really bad spot. Problem here is Faker teleports mid lane. Because he teleports mid lane and he only has rank 1 of his ultimates, he would have to teleport mid lane, clear a wave, or drop the wave and then immediately head top lane if a play starts happening. So D+ have themselves a really good timing window to force the play onto Zeus. Like right now, they have Lucis Flash. It's a really good timing for it because they know that Showmaker has been trading so well in the early game that Faker, who's teleporting back to lane, will not be there in time to respond. So even though you have the Nocturne Talia, it's rank 1 of each ultimate, so you don't have extended range on them. Nocturne, yes, he can go into that play, but because you have Showmaker, who even on a non-global mid laner can get first roam, they can make this play topside. So the way slow pushing out, Zeus knows he's in big shit here. He knows that you can even see him using his W to wave to last hit here because he doesn't want to walk up too far. So they know they're in trouble. As soon as Lucid walks up, though, they realize this is a really bad play. I almost think that Ona should just back off because what should be happening here is Faker saying, I can't roam. This is a really well-timed play. A lot of this comes off of good laning from King and a Showmaker to make sure that Zeus is in like a tradable state. He can actually die. Lucid to be hanging around topside at the right time, and then also just recognizing that as soon as Faker teleports back mid, they have the timing window to go topside without the Talia ult being able to respond. So I think right here, and then, so that's not a bad Maokai ult. Yeah, I mean, Nocturne's nasty, but Nocturne's nasty early game, but Renekton with Rage up is just such a different champion. So what's happening here? So what we do have on the bottom side of the map is like Aiming and Kellen, they have to back off of a wave because they have 0 mana, and Goomer and Kerry have level 6s, so they have to back off. And then Faker gets to push down mid lane as well. Showmaker doesn't have teleport, so we can't get straight back towards mid lane, which means that it will be a couple of plates, which means that T1 can walk into lanes and get some value from it. Another thing that's important about this too, typically T1, when they make these kind of plays, they have full information on where someone like Lucid is. It's been typically pretty rare, besides in the Genji series that we reviewed on here as well, for T1 to fall prey to like jungle ganks very easily, because they have good knowledge on jungler. Nocturne is not a champion that can really walk into enemy jungle very well, and also bot and mid lane have been traded on very hard, which means that it's been harder for them to kind of walk in and get vision themselves. So, I mean, this is a good play from D+K. This is a good play from them. I think that they timed it well. I think that they laned well enough to give themselves the opening, and they timed that opening well. So, now you have Zeus, who is against a full Eclipse on Kingen, which is kind of like the new Renekton build, which means that you're very bursty. And you get to tank, like, one of the Aatrox Qs quite easily as well with the shield. Okay, this is important. This is important. So, now... T1, obviously they've just seen what was used topside. There is no Maokai ult. There is no Maokai flash. So Lucid is a sitting duck, because while Faker couldn't save the topside play, T1 would love to make a play in this kind of next moment, which is exactly what they're doing here. This is well played from them. Even without the Nocturne ult, to use the extra global of the Talir ult to use this combo. Maokai does not have the damage to withstand this kind of play. They don't have bot side lane pressure. So Lucid, after making a really good play top, makes a very unwise decision to go in towards this river here, especially with the Weaver's Wall being, being available to cut off this path. This is a beautiful wall from Faker, by the way. This is a beautiful wall. Yeah, straight into a combo, so he dies for free. So why does he walk up like? Why does Lucid walk like this? So, Karma pushes in mid, but you're making the play too close to mid. So, there are some good things here, right? There's a ward on one side of mid, there's a ward on the other side of mid, which means that Karma is completely safe to keep shoving in Faker. And we did say, hey, a lot of this game is about, can Faker get out of lane and start doing stuff with the ultimates? Hang on, there's another question here. Is there a specific reason you say that Nocturne isn't that good when it comes to invading? So, he is not like a Shinsao who can immediately jump onto you. He doesn't have great target access until he gets his ultimate. He'll just kind of walk at you. So, he can't force fights. He can walk around the rift pretty okay with stuff like water walking. He doesn't have it in this game. He used to run it at some points. And his Q, he can step on his Dustbringer. But, like, he's not really that great at... You know, he can't cross walls to get to you. He has to flash over walls. He doesn't have easy CC. You need to stay within range of him. So if you see Nocturne walking at you, you just walk away. And in this game as well, when you have the Karma who's winning early levels, and you have the Renekton that's winning early levels as well, when you're playing around top side of the map, it's... Or, actually, well, I mean, with Showmaker, he can walk to any side of the map. This is not that easy to play around. Now, what Nocturne is very strong at, and this is why Nocturne is actually not... He's not a bad early game champion. He's just not a good invading champion. If he fights on a Scuttle, say you're in Scuttle on River here, and you have to walk into him. He spell shields your first spell, great, and then he starts wailing on you with lethal tempo. And if you've used your gap closes to get on top of him, you can't then get away from his fear. So if Maokai like W's onto a Nocturne, like he just absolutely just eats it and dies. Because you can spell shield, which gives you the extra stats as well from Nocturne. If you spell shield, you get extra stats. I think it's attack speed when you spell shield. I think it's attack damage on your Q, attack speed on your shield when you do that. And then he procs his fear on you, stacks up his lethal tempo, and then you just die. So you don't want to walk into a Nocturne, which is why Nocturne is pretty happy to sit and farm. But he also doesn't want to leave his jungle, because he can't really get in range of you. He wants someone to dive into him in early game. Later on, obviously, his ultimate changes the equation. But for early clears, Nocturne is very, very good at like standing and fighting. Especially against champions like Maokai, which are not specialized duelists. Have I seen T1 versus HLE? I've seen bits of it. I haven't seen all of it. So that's why I'm going to be VoD reviewing it later after this, because I want to see the kind of thought process here. Anyway, in this bit... okay. So Lucid walks in too close to mid. I think he's too hyped up on how Showmaker's been doing early game. Without realizing that Faker can just ult past him even if he doesn't have prior here, because Faker can ult from underneath turret here. It doesn't matter if the wave's in there, he just ults across mid and then things are bad. Top side, I mean, we just saw both flashes blown, but Dominus came back up, and we just said that the Eclipse first item for the Renekton is absolutely nasty here as well. So he walks up level 9 to level 8, so he's maxed up his Q. Ooh, that's close! Okay. Oh my god, that's close. That's a really important trade back from Zeus, because that means that potentially he can... Oh, I was about to say potentially he can survive. The problem is now, because you have the Eclipse again, Eclipse is off cooldown, so you have another shield. And he has full rage, so he can get an empowered W into an empowered Q, so he can get himself big damage, and then of course like big healing from the Q as well. So he needs to wait for the wave to kind of be thinned out before he can turn up for the last kind of wave clear. So good trading from Kingen, and also just using the item power spike. This is why it was so unfortunate that things went poorly in the early game. Oh yeah, that's Eclipse. That's Eclipse feat. He has no teleport. Ona does have ult coming up. I mean, Zeus just like, I think he just times this wrong, right? Lucid's coming out onto the map, so you know that Lucid can't be topside. You can afford to wait now. You can wait right now, because you know that Lucid just died. He's coming out of base, so he won't be in topside in time. This is quite a grip. And then actually stepping back this way is a problem too. Yeah, so this is another problem too here. Hang on, let me just backstep this. Let me just, like, when does he first see Kingen? Here. And he just about steps back, because he was like, so he just steps back this way, a little bit, so he's just gone a tiny bit back here. Slice, dice. I think if Zeus walks back this way and ease, I think he's safe. I think this is just poor communication from T1, actually, where, I mean, Lucid can only be, so he's walking bot side, we saw that here, right? Not that T1 don't have vision, but you know that Lucid just died. So if you look on the minimap, the closest he can be is probably about blue buff. Now, even if Zeus walked down here and walked back through his own jungle, especially since Renekton would have to use the slice on the minion here, so he can't like use it to get over a wall later in terms of weird ways he could catch up to Zeus. Even if Lucid was here and cast ult, and Karma like walked up this way, he's safe. So I think this is a miscommunication on T1 telling Zeus where Lucid could be, or Zeus having the information of that either way. So as soon as Kingen shows it, you should not be walking back to tower like this. The only reason you walk to tower like this is if you think that, I mean, we see where Lucid is, right? He's nowhere to be seen. Like, well, like he's nowhere close. And even if he'd ran top side instead of bot side, it would have been bad. Yeah, I think Zeus just like walks up. He walks the wrong direction. I think he can walk down into river, walk back towards his own lane. Then Ona can ult into Kingen if he gets too frisky after that point as well. So I think that is lacking information by Zeus on where Lucid is, and then a bad decision in terms of retreat path if he did as well. Yeah, but like this is, yeah, you're absolutely right. Kremlindor, thanks for the follow as well. But yeah, I mean, it's just Eclipse Renekton. And, the one item spike, Eclipse Renekton, is so disgusting. It's like 70 AD, the proc does a butt ton of damage and gives you the shield as well, which means that you can even tank like a skill shot in return, even if sometimes you can kind of get dunked by an Aatrox Q, which is unstoppable. It's one of the big things with the Renekton Aatrox matchup is that if you can kind of predict when the Renekton strung is coming in, you can channel your Aatrox Q, which you can't stop. And it means that you can kind of still get damage in the duration of that CC. Because Renekton, you know, stands still to do this as well. But yeah, I mean, now Kingen is in a really strong spot. Very far ahead of Zeus. What speed are we on? Let's go up to 1.5 again. We've got a couple of games to go through today, folks. This is... Hang on. So we talked about top lane. Now, of course, the Nocturnal is back up. So this is another thing. So we've talked a lot about how T1, their specialty is getting into the enemy jungle and putting down some shallow vision to make sure they can make big plays. D+ have one here, and that's it. So they don't have good knowledge on where everything's happening. Bot lane being so heavily pushing up with the Lucian Nami. This is a big thing, by the way, because T1 got very punished for picking Lucian Nami versus Genji, and then not being able to win lane and crush the bot half of the map with it. Now they are doing that again, which gives them just a whole side of vision. If you go even in the Lucian Nami lane, and look, it's a smolder, you're going to win lane anyway most of the time, unless you pick a weak lane as well. Sometimes you try and scale up against the smolder and lane gets a bit weird. So T1 have really good vision denial this side. So D+, they have no idea where Nocturne could be there. So even though Showmaker is now trading very well, there's a good chance that he can get like traded back on pretty heavily in return because Ona has his ult, and they haven't seen him use it for a while, and they don't really know where he is. Zeus's lane is in a bad spot again, by the way. Again, these minions are going to be pushed out in a bad way. So Showmaker's pushing in again. Luce is on grub, so he can't respond in time. Karma pushed up to the tower again. Outsteps the combo. But tanks a tower shot, and the mantra and the W's not there as well. Yeah, that's just Showmaker really disrespect. This is why you can't just play pushing lanes for forever, because you actually need some extra kind of That's a good opportunistic gank by Ona. Ona manages to stay off of vision. I don't think this early game is his fault at all. I think the topside play was... Okay, that's a good Nami ult. Okay, let's talk about this. So you've just used the Nocturne ult. You know that Showmaker's not there. It's 20 seconds until he's alive, so you can't teleport into the play. Faker had to back because he was low HP, so it is weirdly jungle top versus jungle support, but there's a support coming in. Zeus can't come in. Lucian's going towards bot side. Why the heck are you face checking this? Are you just trying to see if... I don't know, man. Tidal Wave's not bad. Good knockback for both. They're lucky that King and... Oh, does he get the slice and dice off of the grubs? Off of the mites? Oh, these little bastards. He uses these to get his second part of his E. Oh, what? These little grubby bastards. Dashes in, second dash, doesn't have flash, doesn't care, and this is like... Renekton early game powerhouse, one item power spike. Renekton is so disgusting. Good spell shield though. That's a really important spell shield. If you miss that spell shield, you 100% die. So, yeah, good reactions from Ona. He didn't spell shield the W, but that's fine. Saves it for the empowered W of Renekton. That's fine. An empowered W from Renekton is absolutely disgusting. You do not want to get hit by that. So, okay. Right, so Guma is now rewarded for heading bot side instead of going towards top side because his team survives there. Showmaker, well, because he manages to push in a wave and get himself a little bit more farm. This is an important topic to talk about as well. Like we already talked about this, we can skip this. Come back into the play here again. So we're seeing a lot of Shiv on Lucian now. We used to see Stormrazor. Now, why are we seeing Shiv instead of Stormrazor? Well, one of the big reasons is Shiv was so broken on champions like LeBlanc, ADRE, and ADTF that they've nerfed the proc of Shiv. But to compensate and make sure that Shiv is not an ass item, they've just buffed these stats for it. So what it means now is that Stormrazor has a slightly better proc than the Shiv in terms of single target damage, but it gives you less AD, I'm pretty sure. So Shiv gives you really good stats. Lucian really just leveraged off those stats well. And it just gives Lucian even better ability to shove in a wave for free, and then kind of like combo off of that later. Lucian is all about controlling waves in mid lane, and then just permanently shoving and then looking for all in. So it means a lot for him that the stats are good enough for him to build that item. Every AD carry is building it right now. Even Jhin and Samira is building it. Okay, so Faker has teleport. He goes down towards bot lane after Showmaker's blown his teleport as well. So because T1 survived on top side the first time, Guma pushes in bot side, forces a teleport out of Showmaker, which means that Faker can then return to bot side as a teleport and threaten to teleport back into the play for Herald, whereas D+ they can't because they only have the one teleport on King, and he wants to be top lane matching the Aatrox, beating that matchup. That's what matters about these lane allocations right now. So we've got the Herald start from D+. And T1 a lot... So, you do have Maokai ult, which is very strong in terms of, like, defending a position. They're onto the objective first, which means that they can end up, like, throwing the Maokai ult out this way. You can spell shield it, but then that means the spell shield Nona is down. He only has one of them. If you throw it out this way, it's really powerful. You can also throw it, like, down the river as well, like this, which is also fine. And just kind of stop the Lucian Nami from having a huge amount of value. You don't have cleanse on Lucian, so I think T1, they're largely just spectating this going down unless Faker wants to teleport in. Zeus, Zeus needs to recall. If he buys up Profane Hydra now, they can fight, but they would love to have a ward, like, somewhere around here. Anywhere along this flank. They don't. The only ward they have is just up here. And as you can see, just on the top of the screen, you can see Renekton's little crescent blade thing here as well. So it's much harder to... Oh, there's an ad, yeah. Oops. Yeah, hang on. I can wait, like, 5 seconds. Is there a reason why... Is that the reason why not many AD LeBlanc players play... Oh, there aren't that many AD LeBlanc players? Yes, it is. Because the items... The procs are much less effective on LeBlanc now, and then she's also had some changes to her own kit as well. Because they nerfed Shiv into the point where LeBlanc can't wave clear for free anymore. Because she used to be able to dash forward, dash back, get 2 procs of the Shiv, because it did kind of like the blink charges it quicker. And then that would be a big thing. I think that the ad's off now. So the thing is... So Zeus, just to recap again... Zeus just went back. I'm imagining he's going to now buy up a Profane Hydra. And he wants to teleport in. He would love to be on this flank, because the Maokai ult can only control one direction. If you can throw it that way, it means that, you know, this teleport ward here is going to suck. You don't have a cleanse on Gumayushi, so he's going to struggle to be in the fight as well. He needs to position very carefully with this. Only has a single shield as well. He has the spell shield. So you really want a ward like either over here, so you can hop over. He might be able to teleport. onto this ward, move up here and find a flank. But it's quite difficult. And then also the other ward, which is kind of up towards top side, you can see that Renekton is kind of blocking off. Faker can also teleport. I think T1 largely because of this. So they are teleporting in. That's Faker and Aatrox and Zeus. But the Markel is so valuable here. Are they really going to let him walk up and smite? No. So they look to disengage. Ah, I mean, damn one. Guys. Where's the Markel? Just zone them off. Just get the hell away from there. You see both teleports. See them both hit. Where is the Markel? Markel right now. What? Where is it? He fires it now. But this is too late. This is too late. So, T1, they get away with not the best teleports for them. But that's fine. I think that, you know, you punish the mistakes here, right? This is a great ward after. This is a great wall afterwards, by the way. So Faker immediately uses the teleport move speed to move up here to get in position to then drive a wall right across here and split up the team. And that means that even though you only have the one spell shield and you don't have the cleanse, it means that because the fight is so separated, D+ can't really play for the maximum DPS that they want to. I'm a little bit worried about what Kingan's going to do here though. Level 11 flash and ult, that's nasty. Now this is pretty big though. So, Renekton would have to use his E to get over here, which means that he won't have a second part of the E. Unless the Scuttle Crab was right against the wall, he can't actually use the Scuttle Crab to dash over and get a second dash into the play. That's a big thing with Renekton, is how he can get a second E. So that, to me, feels like Lucid makes a big mistake in not using his ult earlier to stop T1 from being able to look for this engage. That Blast Cone is really sad. Oh my god, that is such a good Blast Cone. I mean, yeah, that's a really good Blast Cone. But a lot of this is a very good ult from Faker and a very badly timed ult from Lucid. That's the way I would put that down to. Does Taliyah wall block Guma's ultimate? No. No, Terrain does not block Lucian ult. So now T1, they have 2 dragons. They get a good kill off of that. They use 2 teleports for it. But, hang on, do they get... Ah, but they get mid-turret. Okay, because they get mid-turret off of it, this is completely worth. If you don't get mid-turret, it kind of sucks. Okay. Did you miss the Smolder ult? Yeah, I did, actually. Oh, is he using that to wave clear mid? He thinks he can save the turret with Smolder ult, but he absolutely... That's not great, actually. He gets a little bit of farm from that. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to be fighting in the duration of it being down, so it's not the most egregious. Okay, so we watched this already. We talked about this. Mid turret's down, and now what this means is that T1, they can push up very aggressively to. You can see why. Let me just kind of ping this out on the screen as well. Having wards like this stop Lucian being as useful because that means that you can't spot out a pocket like this. So, for instance. If Lucian is stood in mid lane and wants to dash up here, and Maokai is stood like in this little alcove, he can cast his ult over this wall and immediately force his cleanser free. So you want to make sure that you're as Damwon, you want to be kind of like keeping these wards up because it makes it much harder for T1 to play around the Lucian. And Lucian is getting towards the point where he's going to be absolutely obnoxious. He's going to have Shiv and Fire Cannon for free. Oh shit, yeah, let's slow this down. I mean, Guma has cleanse here, and Damwon don't have great vision into the enemy jungle, so. Why? You don't have the Smolder ult either. You don't have Marka ult. You don't have Smolder ult. Guys. Lucid, what? Lucid, come on. He flashes out of the bubble, but you're never looking for a fight here, realistically. I mean... Cleanse... If you flashed backwards, you don't get the cleanse. I guess he thinks I have to flash forward to try and force something, but you're never finding a fight. That's very dangerous. If you get locked up into a tidal wave, you die there for free. And that's just before dragon spawns, so then that'd be a free dragon. He's lucky to get out with his life. I feel like that could have gone worse. Lucid's ult was almost up, but it wasn't up. If it was up, even then, a melee range Markel is not very long CC. Markai's ultimate gets more CC the farther distance it travels. So, because Lucid goes into River and can't and has to flash out immediately, they don't get themselves an easy access into River. They're teleporting in with a Renekton. Now, Renekton is strong. They've got a good timing on this. Lucid will be able to get in range for Smite, and then Renekton can get over this wall, potentially flash onto a big carry as well. And now there's no cleanse on Guma. So there is a chance that Guma gets absolutely one-shot by Kingan here. Nocturne ult comes in, though. Oh, and then the Maokai ult and the Smolder ult comes through and they get the steal. So what could have T1 done differently then? So they don't have Zeus, so they know that they're not looking for a fight. That's why as soon as they see this teleport, they realize they'll be outnumbered. They are looking for the dragon and nothing else, really. Especially against all of the ultimates from D+, and then also Renekton teleporting in and being very scary. They don't want to overstay into a Renekton. I think that's fine. Let's go back a little bit. What happens in mid lane here? Could they have killed this? So the bubble's missed. Could they have stayed longer here? Well, there's no Nocturne ult, so Ona's going to struggle to be part of a fight. He doesn't want to walk in here. If he walks in here, then Showmaker potentially slows him down and kills him, and that'll be a jungler dead just before Dragon. So he kind of wants to back... Okay, that makes sense. I think because of Showmaker's positioning here to threaten Ona, I don't think that T1 want that fight properly. Yeah, you can see that Ona backs off. He doesn't want to stay too far. Okay, and then obviously the fight happens after this point. Okay, yeah, no, the bubble was flashed. That's the better way to say it. Yeah, I know. Anyway, so Ocean Dragon being taken, that's kind of big. It means that T1 aren't on Ocean Soul points. That's a really big buff for Nocturne and Aatrox this game in particular. Now, because they had to take a weird path into mid lane, because they had to take a weird path into River, it means that they had to take a weird path back into mid lane. And that means that Faker gets this angle here. Oh my god, that's a good combo. That's really... I mean, there's too many minions. That was actually really fun. I kind of like to see... I mean, this is why I kind of wanted to see Faker go towards the Zhonya second so he could be very aggressive with that. But I think he just wants to be maximum DPS and pick up some of the magic damage slack that T1 don't really have much of. Why has he gone Crypt Bloom, though? I mean, it's... cooldown reduction and it gives you the healing. The healing utility is pretty good. Why the fuck? Oh, did he stop the teleport? Where was he teleporting to? Oh, top lane. So that means that Zeus gets like some extra gold here. Spell shield. Oh my god, this is a mess. Hang on. So, let's slow this down because I was wondering how many parts of this play were going to start coming together. This is obviously a very big multi-part play. So, throughout all of this, one of the reasons that T1 didn't want to play towards the dragon or towards this river fight is because Zeus was pushing top lane and he didn't have teleport. How many waves did he get in? He gets one wave. He gets like 2 waves at this point. King starts pushing bot side with 6 grubs. Ah, yeah, 6 grub buffs. That's kind of nasty. You shouldn't forget that as well. Okay, so that means that Damwon, they would really like to stop Zeus getting solo gold. He doesn't have Profane Hydra. He's super far behind in this game, actually. Well, he hasn't recalled in a little while, but he's still pretty far behind. 0-2, down a lot of CS. Cancels the teleport, which means that T1 will be winning on the top side of the map in regards to just denying minions and taking tower. They are losing turrets on the other side of the map, though, but it's still a bonus for Zeus individually. While all this is happening, Ona overstays here because, I mean, do they see where Showmaker's going? So they see that Showmaker's still here. Where's he going? They see that Showmaker uses his shield and starts running that way, so you know that Showmaker's not going to be part of the play, so it is currently 4v4. Problem is, the most powerful person on the map is kind of Kingen. Well, he's half HP. He's half HP, but he's a Renekton at level 12. He's got second rank of ultimate and full rank of Q, which is really nasty. You're looking for the quick pick onto Ona. You don't have the Mark Elk, because you've just used that before. So T1, they probably should still know that they should be backing off, because the person who's in the front line order is going to be in a lot of shit. Spell Shield's the W. King and Blast Cone's over. The hit... Oh my god, this is hilarious. So, Renekton gets raged by auto-attacking, right? So he E's first. By auto-attacking the Blast Cone, he gets empowered W. And that means that he just ticks over the amount of Fury to get the empowered W. That's why he goes for this, because it's a sick-ass play. But I mean, he sees Faker. Folks, I mean, Kingen sees Faker, and Faker has Flash. And one of the things we said about the Aatrox Renekton matchup is that when you W as Renekton, you self-stun yourself for the same time that, like, for the duration of that animation, right? Self-stunning yourself into a Talia who is at 1.5 items with you know, 0-0-1. Look, it's a fun play. He gets the auto attack, which gets him over to the next range mark, which means that he can get this play onto Ona. But he just opens himself up to get absolutely blasted. The bubble is fantastic too. Actually, yeah, I mean, it's not even... Okay, you know what? Let me revise that. It's not even just into the Talia. If it was just the Talia, it would be still pretty bad. The fact that the bubble comes down as well... Oh, that's a good bubble. That's a really good timing from Keria. Double shove. The Milio ult comes out. Does he get away with this? Okay. Yeah, I mean, Faker dies now. Okay. Damn, I thought that was going to go much worse, but this is the Milio diff, I guess. Yeah, I mean, Milio has heal and ult. Yeah, that's just Milio diff there. Kingen is lucky to get away with that one. But now Faker's obviously in the middle of nowhere. He can't get out. Showmaker has enough movement speed. Showmaker has enough movement speed to make it back. Yeah, Showmaker makes it back to the play. He initially moves towards top side, but T1 can't survive the play quick enough. So, honestly, yeah. Bit of a fumble from Ona from overstaying in River. I think both junglers have had a few moments of that. Guma is strong as hell, by the way. You don't want to walk into this Lucian still. Like, this Lucian is scary as heck. Hang on, I'll turn this light off. I just realized that light was off. It makes me seem vampiric. Okay. Stops the teleport. Because you stop that teleport, you realize that you are looking to make sure that Zeus has, like... Is Zeus going to stay towards that play top side? So the teleport's been cancelled. He goes back towards top turret. I mean, I think overall in this play, as soon as this teleport is stopped, as soon as you're saying I'm stopping the teleport, you should be moving back here. Because if they're stopping the teleport, it means that this guy can just move right back in, and this clump can come back in. You are at a numbers disadvantage, and then King is very, very strong as well. So I think that's a miscommunication from T1 about what they want to achieve from this play. Do you want to isolate top lane? If you don't have the Nami ult as well, it's much harder to fight. Nami ult is such a big part of a team fighting capability. You know, if you manage to get the... if you had the tidal wave now and you could throw it down this corridor to stop these guys from walking up, stop Showmaker and Kellen from being able to get, like, big value in this fight as kind of like enchanters. Like, imagine if you had that bubble into a tidal wave down here. If you wanted to team fight, then you shouldn't have cancelled the teleport. Because you need that ultimate. It's a good shove from Faker. But the problem is, you're playing around the Karma and the Milio, who are just so good at keeping the carries alive. And also the King, and you know, he's just very strong. He manages to use the full breadth of his HP bar. If you get King in there, that's a hell of a play. I mean, you still probably die is the problem. But it's still fun. I mean, like, and it's also killing the most powerful member on the map for D plus Q as well. So, T1, this is their point of power now. This is their point of power. So, we have 2 item spike from Lucian, which means he can dash forward, and he can match kind of, well, so, there's going to be some interesting stuff which comes through in here, and I remember seeing some stuff about this game. So, one big thing. Oblivion Orb from Keria means that when Lucian dashes forward with the E, so this was a change. Now you do apply Grievous Wounds on, like, Nami E being attached to Lucian. So that means that if, yeah, so the Talia wall stops him from charging through the Herald. That's actually really good for Faker as well. So Faker pushed that push that top lane, sees the Herald charge, just walls across mid, stops the Herald from getting value. That's nice. I've not seen that before, actually. The more I see Talia, the more I'm like, man, this champion is so broken right now in pro. But yeah, so back to the Oblivion Orb. Because you're playing against the Milio, who will be kind of healing up the Smolder once you kind of trade in. The Oblivion Orb actually makes a lot of difference in regards to the big tap trades that Lucian wants to get. And there's no lifesteal on aiming it. You have the Fleet Footbook. So, there is a... Yeah, I mean, the problem is, this Smolder is actually doing quite well. This Smolder's doing quite well, and it feels like the Lucian is not going to be able to easily just, like, gun them down in the mid lane. Particularly since they've managed to survive through to the mid game, and even with the mid lane outer turret down, they're getting okay farm. 155 stacks is quite low, actually, for this point in the game. Yeah, it is quite low. He's been denied quite a lot. He has 2 items. He has gold, but he hasn't been able to, like, get a lot of Q stacks, which is obviously one of the big parts of why you pick this champion. It'll be fine. It's not like horrible, but it's just a little slower than you'd want it to be. Fire cannon, but then again, you see the increased range from Milio means that you get to trade fire cannon for Milio Q, like Milio buffing up your Smolder Q to kind of get the extra range on it. So Baron's live, Dragon's up soon. That would be soul point for T1, but not the soul itself. See that aiming is really trying to flex his muscles whenever the campfire's up. Because when you have the campfire, it means that when you get campfire and fire cannon as Smolder, it's very, very strong. Oh, okay. So we've got Dragon coming up now. The campfire is down. I think with the campfire down, T1 feel like they can fight, because the campfire is a huge part of how aiming plays out these fights right now. There's a reason why Smolder goes rapid fire cannon so obviously. Bubble missed. Flashes him back into the team though. Gets the tidal wave back, but there's a redemption in the shields. So, Carrier doesn't have a great ability to influence the team fight now. Haven't seen. So Maokai ult, Kingen is out of the fight because he's been walled off. But there's no real other ability to use this. Using the Renekton and the Tilea ults. Ooh, Lucid doesn't even burn down. Let's slow it down and go back to him. So, they've used the Tilea ult, used the Nocturne ult. They don't have full vision about what was happening over here, actually. They didn't see the full positioning of them, and they respond very quickly to what's happening to Kingen. Diving onto, again, the strongest member of D plus Kia. And, like, this Nocturne cannot stand up to this Renekton's point of power. Renekton is so strong. King is having a good game. He's traded very well, he's got a lot of gold for himself, and he's had some big combos. So then Owner ends up dying. I mean, Owner is the one person who's going to be playing for the front line, right? I mean, even Aatrox wants to be on the flank, he doesn't want to be a front line. So we're seeing that he's getting caught off. Whenever T1 makes mistakes, it's Owner is the one that's kind of dying for it. This one is sort of his bad, it's not a great angle. But the rest, the other deaths, I feel like actually, on the whole, it's more of a kind of like indicative of how the team is doing, rather than Owner on a personal level. But like D+, they're doing a really good job of utilizing their power. I think that this Smolder now is at a really good point in regards to 2 items, has double enchanters buffing them up. It's making T1's job very, very hard in terms of like trying to play around this item spike. Again, you can see that like fire cannon from Milio effectively traded back on the other side, but yeah. The poke from fire cannon Smolder and then also the Mantra Q is really nasty. So they get themselves towards Dragon for that. Smite was down anyway. And T1, they're going to have to find themselves a little bit of magic. They do have flanking options. They've got double globals. And they have a Lucian that's very strong. But yeah, D+, they are really just kind of bending them over the barrel right now and saying, you know, if you stay and just play around this mid lane, we win. Because you're playing the Lucian Nami, which is very strong, but we have double enchanters, which means that you never get to use that combo as well. Also, they're just diving in with Owner into a lot of damage and not being able to pick people out of position. The positioning from D+ has been really good. You know, there's no point going up towards King in here. He is so strong. Pops the ult, immediately gets an Eclipse Shield. He's 3 levels up on the enemy jungler because solo lane's the jungler. It makes that sense, so... Okay. Oh, this is fun. This is fun. Okay. So, let's talk about this build. So, Serpent's Fang, 3rd item. So, what we're going to see now, when we see the fire cannon come through here, is a very important trade in mid lane. In terms of we need to track how this goes. So, what normally happens, Guma jumps forward, Kellen slams on his healing and shielding onto this guy. You have anti-heal from the Oblivion Orb, and then you have the anti-shielding now from Serpent's Fang, which will cut down both Karma and Milio's effectiveness. So, Guma Yushi, if he finds a good angle onto aiming, he should be able to make sure that he can properly poke him down. There's no anti-healing on the other side too, so Carrier can actually start healing up Guma when he comes back. So if Carrier and Guma can find the really good rapid fire autos, it feels like we're getting to the point where yeah, we're getting to the point where maybe Aiming gets kind of punished for walking up in mid lane. Right, even there, you know, like that's a tank which he's hitting with some armor. But this is 3-item Lucian is nasty. He even gets some lethality as well from the Serpent's Fang, which is just, you know, nice. Okay, and they're throwing out the Maokai ult, but Guma's completely fine. Lucid's ults haven't been great. I think his early gameplay was pretty good, but I haven't really liked his ults. Particularly around the grubs earlier, I feel like or was it the Herald? He made a big mistake around then in terms of the timing of it. So now T1, they're trying to slide into a point where they can kind of push in and use their globals. like kind of force D plus to either give an opening to either Talia Nocturne or to Lucian to all in someone. And get the really big kind of either poke trade or full kill trade. If D plus get to play, if they get to play around a grouped unit, or Renekton is someone just kind of playing 1v2, I think they win. I think they win. Okay, right, so we do have aiming at 225 stacks. It's a little bit late, but it's enough. It's enough. T1 trying to keep up that shallow vision again to make sure they know where Lucid is, so Lucian can jump forward with jump forward for free. God damn. Yeah. So they get that shallow vision. They have a ward on Raptors and they have a ward on top side. And again, D plus, so rather T1, they want to pull D plus apart, so D plus don't get to play around a big grouped up unit, particularly with the Smolder and the Renekton kind of being frontline, backline. Why does he flash that way, man? So he gets spotted out. He's not actually that tanky because he doesn't have that much armor, actually, thinking about it again. The Knight's Vow has some and you got the Bramble Vest, but Guma is so strong. And also there's a decent amount of magic damage coming out from Guma because of the procs, the Energized, and then also the Nami's Imperial Mandate as well. Big damage. And then, so he gets perma-CC'd, and then he flashes out that way. I mean, can't you just, guys, can't you just flash this way? There's a heal on Kellen. Like, Lucid, buddy, what are you doing? I mean, yeah, just flash out. So now you're dead. And he's died, just as Baron spawned as well, so... Lucid, what the hell are you doing? Legit, that's just a Lucid diff, I think. Why would you flash like that? Why would you flash like that? Smolder's not in range. He has an ult, and that's it. Showmaker's just used his mantra. There's no way this works out. There is no way this works out. That's just such a freebie. So he burns his flash. Dies anyway, achieves nothing with the flash. That's so poor. Who wins between LNG or EDG? LNG right now. EDG are quite a poor team. Not that LNG are great themselves. Smolder ult comes in, but you don't have a jungler. You don't get to retreat. Faker's now teleport. Wait, hang on. They're not. They are actually looking for a straight fight. So aiming does have stacks. Okay. Zeus is level 16. He's managed to get himself a lot of XP by just sticking in side lanes for the whole game. Aiming good damage. So the teleport from Faker doesn't lead to anything because the poke comes in too much. So that's a bit unfortunate. Lose mid lane turret, but that's a consolation prize at best. And we talked about this fight already, so... Oh, this is a fun trade. I think we'll... Oh, shit. So watch this. God damn, big burst trade. And then with the healing and shielding coming back being cut as well, it means that aiming doesn't get to regen as much. I'd imagine with the BF sword, he's actually going to go towards a Bloodthirster next. So if he gets access to jungle camps or a minion wave, that's a big thing, but... If you manage to fight... if you manage to stop Smolder getting access to minions or creeps just before... minions or... Jesus Christ, though, he trades hard back with the Q. But if you manage to, like, get a good trade while there's no minions on the map or and around objectives, then it's pretty bad for D+. So, you got the globals of Owner and Faker on the side here, holding court in the river. Where's he ulting to? So he's ulting back into position. Interesting there, actually. Why would you ult like that? Why would you ult like that? That's really weird. Did he want... I mean, why would you... Yeah, why would you ult like that? You want to save that as well. I mean, you could ult this way as soon as the Maokai ult coming through, right? If you ult this way, it means you're closest to like a play here. If it happens, you still have Cleanse on Guma, so he's not under massive threat. He has Cleanse and Flash. And you see he's Kingin too. That's a weird ult. I think that Faker's ult's been great this game. I don't understand that one though. Zeus gets his spell shield blown by a sapling because Maokai is bullshit. Tidal Wave. Tidal Wave doesn't... So, Tidal Wave forces D+ into a position where they... That's an ambulance. I mean, you see the Maokai ult pop, but you see where it is, right? So he pulls it there, and he has like 2 seconds to see where it's going, and you can also see the direction there's there. Yeah, I mean, that's just not a great ult from Faker. I think his other ults have been good. That one's... I think maybe he wants to just protect where Kerry is going. Maybe he thinks there'll be a flash forward, but not from Lucid. So I think, yeah, I think that's just a mistake. Zeus gets the spell shield blown by a sapling, as we said. This is one of the big things about Maokai. He kind of works as like a vision champion as well. So the tidal wave means that everyone on D+ is going this way. They can't kind of stand in this zone here. Is that what they need right now? Means that Guma's ult gets to kind of go along this way. So as they flee this way out of the tidal wave, they flee into Guma's ult. Which means that Kellen takes a lot of damage. No, I think actually Guma... I think Guma picks a wrong angle for his ult, by the way. And maybe he thinks that Kennen will actually get hit by that. It's not a great culling, but it's okay. Kingen's flash is down. That's a big mistake by Kingen. You need this guy to do a lot of work. Fails the E over the wall. Wait, did he want to E over the wall? He does just E, faceplant E into the wall. Huh. I mean, he could have... I mean, Guma's over the other side. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a bit of a fail from Zeus there. Not that it matters too much. Like, his E is on low cooldown, so whatever. It would have been nice to get some damage onto Showmaker, though. Particularly since, like, the Serpent's Fang from Guma can potentially tag some of those targets as well if he lands a Q across a couple of people to kind of deny some of the karma shielding. So now Kingen doesn't have flash now. Double... Oh my god, how does the bubble hit him? How does the bubble hit him? So Kingen's uses E, so there's no flash, no E on Kingen, so he can't be the frontline that he wants to be. Good Q onto Faker from aiming Smolder. And then aiming just gets nailed by that. Blows the melee ult for free. And now with the melee ult down, like... Okay, so Dragon's taken. Zeus just flanking everything. Oh my god, he just absolutely slaughters him. Oh my god, wow. Oof. Guma's so mobile, he can go in for the final bit of that as well. So, I mean, it's just... It's a combination of Carrier blowing all of the defensive stuff just before this from Kellen. Like, right here, you can see that, you know, you've got... With the tidal wave blowing both Kellen's sums and then the bubble blowing his ult, it allows Zeus, like, an extra amount of room to just do this. I mean, the fact that Aatrox can go 1v4 in the backline and do this and come out as full HP is so fair and balanced. What is this champion, man? What is Aatrox? Oh, God. So, right. That was not great from aiming. You shouldn't get caught by, like, free Nami bubbles by that. It's not like the Nami bubble was kind of comboed into anything. It's really good from Carrier. Bad positioning from aiming all the same. I think Kingen played that last fight badly too. It's hard to play the fights well as Renekton, but blowing your flash in a bad way like that, that's not great. Damn. Is that game or is that just Baron? That's probably inhibs. Is that game? Okay. Yeah, and we already saw this, right? We've already been through this. We've been through it. And this champion is so fair, by the way. Okay. Get back out onto the map. Huge gold advantage, even though you're down in terms of dragons. You have a Novori now on Guma, which means that his ability to kind of jump forward, double tap, then jump forward again, or jump backwards is absolutely insane. Faker has Death Cap on top of Crypt Bloom as well, so he's going to be absolutely shitting out damage. And he has a stopwatch as well, potentially for the last fight of the game. Because D+ needs Smolder to do all their damage, if Smolder ever dies, it's a mess. I mean, like, Mantra Qs can be good poke before a fight, and one can change a fight if it's good enough, if it hits onto enough people in the right place, but yeah, I think that Kingen, despite the fact that he had a really good early game, has really struggled to impact the fights in the way that he wanted to. And the one fight, he kind of had that kind of very close play on. He probably shouldn't have ended up winning out on that one either. I mean, T1's team fighting is still pretty solid. I think there may be some 1 or 2 macro mistakes here and there. Particularly in regards to like how Showmaker was pushing Faker back in lane. I think later into the game that was much harder to do right, because Faker just gets to go into side lanes and it's just not fair for D+. There's the Lord Doms as well for Guma as well, so he even gets to have, yeah, he even gets to kill tanks now in good amount of damage. Bloodthirster in for aiming so we can shrug off some of the poke. But I don't think it's enough. Guma taking big damage though. Heal from Carrier. But that just buys time for Baron to go down. And again, we just talked about Guma having a million items. Luce is not there in time. Yeah, I mean, T1 have such a big lead and they have such big ability to push in lanes. It's so hard for D+ to approach anything. They try and brute force mid, they get a summoner out, but it's just very hard. I saw a lot of people complain about the Lucian Nami combo for Guma and Carrier. What are your thoughts? I think we are getting to the point where teams can punish it if it's blind picked, if they're good enough. Not every lane can, but teams that are good enough can. Gen G, they came in with multiple answers to the Lucian Nami in the... so I reviewed that one as well. They had the Poke Callista, and then they had the Aphelios Lulu as well, which is an older answer to the Lucian Nami. God damn, the damage from Guma is so nasty. But when they get to win lane, T1 gets so much vision control and the ability to track the enemy jungler off of that winning lane that it's absolutely absurd. So I like it when they can actually win lane, but I need to see them know what can counter the Lucian Nami, if anything, or be able to learn about the lane matchups of the counters, quote-unquote, and be able to continue to do that effectively. So Lucid has flash. He flashes forward aggressively. King has used his E on the side to get over, so he's not able to get into everything here. Faker still has stopwatch, by the way. Ona goes straight into the backline to save Faker. I think that's the right call. He gets to run out. He uses the stride breaker to stop anyone from chasing him. Lucid's in completely alone at that point. They're down too much gold. Kingen has to flash away. If Renekton has to use his flash defensively in late game, it is over. I mean, Ona lives as well. Jesus. God damn the damage. Jesus, man. Yeah. I mean, the thing is with late game scenarios like this is that D+ had no lanes to push. They are hugely outdamaged. That the macro of this late game is very, very hard for them, which is why I mean, I don't talk as much about it. I think the mid game macro where things are more even and it feels like there are more options available, that's when it's more interesting. The late game here is like you have no pushing lanes. You're against a Lucian that can tap any of your front line for free as well. And T1 largely have managed to do a really good job of kind of like separating out frontline from backline. And Lucid had a hard game. Lucid had a hard game. That was not a great game from him. He had one good gank topside in a really good timing. Besides that, not great. Okay, I'm going to leave it on this for a second. I'm going to go get myself a drink from the other room because I need more caffeine. And then we'll get onto it again. So, let's go on to game 2 draft. Make myself big face again. So we're going to talk about the draft a little bit more. So, I didn't mind the D+ double enchanter smolder comp. I think that, however, they often ended up playing quite disconnected in the team fight, and their frontline got isolated to a point where aiming couldn't be the DPS backliner. I think that Showmaker had a really good early laning phase to stop Faker from kind of roaming out onto the map as Talia very easily. I think that actually D+ used that quite well. But as soon as Showmaker kind of dropped that pressure or was punished in mid lane, it felt like T1 kind of like opened up a macro advantage into the game. Also, Guma and Carrier winning lane through the bot side, like Lucian Nami, it just destroyed the vision game for D+. Like if you give Guma Carrier a winning bot lane, the game feels over for T1. You can't let them do that. Yeah, I think good comp, bad execution is maybe a bit oversimplified because their individual comp is good. It was bad against some of the things which T1 put out, because I really like how T1 play around the Lucian Nami when they're ahead. I don't like how it happens when they get blind picked and they blind pick and then the blind pick gets punished. So now they pick the Lucian. So D+ realize they don't have an answer to the Lucian Nami on blue side maybe. So they start picking it up themselves. Now, typically what we've seen before is Milio being taken away from the Lucian to be put with someone like a Varus Milio or an Aphelios Milio or something like that. But instead they take away the Nami. So you don't have Lucian Nami. Lucian Nami is not here now as like the dominant lane combo from for the Lucian in terms of the damage. Milio can be really good at kind of giving you the extra range for the fire cannon. It was a lot better when they had the support item because Bloodsong plus Milio plus the fire cannon was just too much damage. Now the Nami feels like the better lane pairing for the Lucian now that the double support item with the Blood Song on the Lucian is gone. And they lock in Aatrox as well, which it's a very good blind pick right now, and it allows you to kind of like flank onto a lot of big team fights. And plus it's just a really good champion for Zest as well. So they're blind picking there, and they're leaving themselves half of a blind pick for half of a counter pick for bot lane as well. They have a takeaway in the Nami. Question is though, what do you lock in with the Nami? I mean, we've seen, what do you even lock in with Nami? Because you want to have lane dominance with the Nami. Lee Sin been locked in. That's a 3v3 bot side champion as well right now. So Lee Sin is going to start a fight. I think we're going for lane pressure bot lane. When you have a Lucian, it tends to be that case. So the Nami on the other side, typically quite a lane bully as well. So you need to have a pairing that is a lane bully. And Lucian needs some... Well, I mean, why you can just go for the Milio, right? But the Milio loses lane to Nami, I feel like. I think, like, Nami bullies out Milio. So that's why they don't go for Milio. So Sona is a very rarely seen pick. I think this might even be the only one I've seen of this year. I don't even know if I saw it last year. We used to see some Sona Seraphine and stuff like that. But Sona is really good at lane bullying, especially when you have like your power chord to... if you get the slow from the power chord, or like even just the empowered... Yeah, so if you kind of get the empowered aura onto Lucian for his next auto attacks, and then you even get something like... There's the empowered one, which kind of... Your auto attack on the target gives them like 50% less damage for the next couple of seconds or whatever it is. Next 2 seconds. That's pretty insane. So we get a Sona. And also, because of the heals you get from the aura as well, it gives Lucian like just a lot of buffs too. Now, Sona is a very immobile champion, and the Crescendo is not a very long-range team fight disruption ult. You need to position quite aggressively to make the use of it, unlike Nami, which can sit further back. Callum was the last one before this to use Sona in the LCK, and he won that game against Nami. Okay, very good to know. Very good. Spooky O's, Awakens, and Pedrin, and Chipper, and Gumball. Thanks for the follows, folks. Okay, and they lock in the Rel. So they're hiding the AD carry pick. They have a really good engage option, because, I mean, one of the things about Nami is that if you throw ultimate at a Rel who's walking at you, say to kind of like compare and contrast the Sona and the Rel, Sona and the Nami can disengage a Rel by just throwing CC at her. If you hit with the Crescendo onto a Rel, it doesn't stop the combo. You don't have a knockup. You don't have a displacement to stop that going through. I'm really quite worried for the team fight of D plus Kia. I think the laning phase might be okay, depending on the AD carry coming in for Guma. I'd imagine you're looking at what? Varus. We used to see Ezreal. Ezreal Nami used to be really good. Very strong level 1, level 2. Yeah, I mean, Varus Ezreal look like they'd be pretty okay. Guma is also a very good Caitlyn player in regards to lane dominance as well, and you get to kind of proc the E quite well from long range. So I think one of those three, Varus, Caitlyn, Ezreal, I think all of them are pretty good. Because like it just makes use of Nami's buffs in terms of like just playing aggressively and also just being lane bullies. But that's I'm really worried now, because I feel like if you do allow Guma counter pick on AD carry and you don't manage to ban out all 3 of these picks, which could potentially threaten you in laning phase, I feel like you're not going to get enough through bot side laning phase, and that means that you're eventually going to get towards team fights without a huge advantage, which means that then owner on the Rel can just smash the spot lane. There's nothing you can do to disengage the Rel here. And with the Cassante band as well, that's one of the disengaging champions that can block the Rel from top lane. Is there anything else? Draven banned away. Oh yeah, in terms of early kill pressure and yeah, that makes sense too, actually, in terms of the early kill pressure and laning phase. I would have personally banned out Varus, maybe. I think Varus is just really annoying, and also stops some of Sona's healing as well. And they ban out the Renekton in terms of the better matchup into the Aatrox as well. I think this is better for denying the team fight engage. This is better for just like stopping Zeus being so dominant in early lane. They ban away Hui. Okay. I guess it's a long-range poke mage from mid lane that can punish the Sona for sitting around and trying to be a heal bot. Well, I mean, Hui Rel is really nasty, because you pin everyone in place with the Rel, and then the Hui kind of one-shots you after that point. I would have banned another lane-dominant AD carry, though, because if you lose lane as Lucian Sona, you're absolutely screwed. And Faker goes to the Ahri, which means that, so you don't go for the Talia. You go for the Ahri, which is just gonna, these two are just gonna permanently run bot lane, I feel like. I feel like they just permanently run bot lane. It's an okay jungle TV2, mid jungle TV2 as well. Rel can CC Ahri into place, but I mean, you're against the Lee Sin, which is, you know, kind of annoying. Cassin would be awful this game, by the way. Like, Cassin hates playing into Nami and Rel. Annie is kind of an okay answer into the Ahri, because you're a lot of point and click. You have good early damage at level 1. Your auto attack range is pretty big. Ahri with her HP buffs from in mid game though is actually quite good against. Well, she's not as bad against her as she was last year, which actually Annie could keep you down quite hard, especially in early game, and to the point where you'd actually force Ahri to go spellbook and cleanse and stuff. And they lock in the Gnar for the side lane pressure. Okay, so this is also important too. Sona, as we said, kind of finds it hard to get engaged at some points, and because you've now got, you know, the Nami, the Ahri, and then an AD carry, they're going to be stood at range. It's very hard to even get flash crescendos. Annie gives you some teamfight engage. It's your only engage, though. So if you lose lanes, and we've got last pick Guma to potentially just, like, win bots. I think at this point, Guma has just said, what can you win lane against Sona Lucian on? What can you win lane against? And if you win lane there, T1 get that vision through from these two. Ahri has way better wave control than Annie right now. So you're going to get vision control through mid lane, and I don't think Annie can hold that down in lane. Gnar is okay versus Aatrox. That's fine. So you have one lane and top side. But, like, how the hell are you going to get Annie off of vision when you've got two hyper-pushing lanes potentially, or, like, two winning lanes, not hyper-pushing. But if you have two winning lanes, how does Annie ever get into position to engage? That feels not great. I'm quite worried here for D+ in terms of how they approach that. I guess on the other side, if you don't have a lane... Well, I mean, it's Guma. He'll have a lane... Yeah, I think the Caitlyn works here. Caitlyn or Varus, one of the two. I think you just, like, you smash lane as best you can, you get vision control, and then you try and run away with vision control and never allow the Annie into a position to engage. And particularly Lucid as well in the Lee Sin. He'll also suffer from that too when he's looking for big plays. So it is the Caitlyn, right? We'll get into game and talk a little bit more compositions. Small mirror. When it comes to autos, does Kate have better poke than Lucian? So, in early lane, well, the way that this matchup works is, Lucian dashes forward, Caitlyn tries to dash back and hit him with an E. So even if Lucian gets the double tap, he gets slowed. You can do like a QE cancel. Caitlyn, if you hit the net, beats Lucian. If you end up getting hit, if you dodge the net and Lucian still manages to get like auto attacks, then Lucian wins. That's typically how it works. We've seen 1xN play this matchup against Ruler in TT versus JDG, and it was a very fun matchup. We saw it go both ways for points. Showmaker going for Aery. Aery's just a very good early lane dominant rune, but Faker getting an early electrocute trade here, it's really annoying. Ahri is a very strong champion at using electrocute very early on with auto Ws. He shouldn't be giving free autos like that with the Aery though. The more Aeries that you get to use, yeah, right here, you only have one electrocute every 30 seconds or so. It's like once a wave, or just over really. Whereas Aery, you get it every few seconds. It's Halo Blades on Caitlyn as well. Again, everything is just like, you have Barrier, you have Halo Blades. It is all about dominate level 1. And they get to push in bot side. And look at this, the Halo Blades with Carrier kind of like buffing them up as well. Nasty. So that means that T1, they're probably going to have winning bot side, which is a problem. So the Nami takeaway has succeeded for early lane. Will it succeed beyond that? I mean, we'll see. 12-1. Jesus. In LCK. Not internationals, but LCK. See that Showmaker's got early push in mid lane because Faker, even with the early electrocute trade, took too many Aery trades back. Which is annoying. Also, by the way, this is one of my pet peeves too. Ahri already has... So what... Okay, no, actually in this matchup it's fine. So, the reason you take Dematerializers on Ahri is because it allows you to go towards like early Merc Treads or early cooldown boots. And Faker's just doing something different. If you're going back for an Amp Tone, don't get Amp Tone, get Dark Seal. Like this is simple Ahri stuff. You always get a Dark Seal on Ahri at the earliest possible opportunity you can. If you go dematerializes, for me that signifies I need early boots because look, there's a play coming into here, but the thing is, if you have early AP, if you have early AP, you don't need dematerializers to clear minion waves. If you have a Dark Seal and an Amp Tone, you're still clearing from level 7, level 8-ish. It's around that kind of point. If you go for early Lucidity Boots or early Merc Treads, you don't get that AP, and you need extra damage to kill minions earlier into the game. Now, you will still clear those minions at level 9 anyway. That's always going to happen. Ahri is very good at clearing minions right now with just Dark Seal and like an Amp Tone and then Dark Seal with the Dorans and stuff. So if you're going back very early on, and you're not buying boots and going towards early Null Magic Mantle, or towards early boots and then going up towards early Merc Treads or whatever it is, don't go with dematerializers. It's not actually that valuable, because he's now going to lose value out of the dematerializers. He doesn't need that. Now, I suppose this is just him taking hard trades early and going, oh, I need to back anyway. But for me, I don't like this, because if that's the case, you get better laning runes against Annie if you don't go towards the dematerializers anyway. You can go towards Second Wind. If you want, you can go, I think, or you can, well, actually, no, against Annie, you can go towards Bone Plating and Overgrowth, which makes it really hard for Showmaker to trade at level 1 even, because you just run at him with Electrocute and Bone Plating. Or you can even go Scorch and Mana Flow as well. If you can take some more damage, but you trade some more back. And then when you go forward towards that too, it means that once you get Mana Flow up as well, you just feel really good about even skipping like a Lost Chapter early as well, and kind of go towards like Dark Seal, Fiendish Codex, which is pretty okay. That's a really fun back as well. So I don't really like Faker's early play in regards to his rune choices. It's a mini thing, but I play so much Ahri. I have 1.5 million points on Ahri. I've played it for 10 years, and you know, I would consider myself one of the experts on the champion. So I have strong opinions on this one. And Faker is one of the best Ahris in the world. I'm not going to contest that. But when it comes to early laning phase, I think there's a lot that you can do with runes right now to affect things. So Gumi using the Halo Blades well on bot side, getting a CS lead. And he's just using the last of his HP and mana to get himself a good back. What's his first back going to be? Presumably Kirchi's Shard. He's not backing under turret. So when you're out of vision as well, I think Sona can't proc the Q on you. Oh, he's getting Dirk. Okay, Dirk's an even better laning item. Jesus, yeah. And there's no one tanking at the side. Yeah, Dirk is very, very strong. Oh, no. Ooh. Okay, so it's 2-1. That's fine. But both junglers use smites, right? That was close. Maybe Ona should have saved something for a secure if he felt like Lucid was on the same side of the map, but whatever. 2 for 1 is fine. Okay, so now Faker is going towards early boots. But like the first back of the game, I would have liked that to be a Dark Seal instead of an Amp Tone. It's just so much more valuable. Dark Seal on... So Medjay's is Ahri's best item, because for her, she already gets her empowered healing, where she goes in quite deep for like 1 for 1. Well, not for once, but for the first kill. So you're likely to survive the first kill with a reset in terms of your HP, and then your ultimate resetting as well for 1 charge. Which means you get to protect your stacks very well. Also in this game, I guess the only way you're dying is if Annie gets a really clutch stun onto you, but if you get Merc Treads, that's much less likely to kill. Yeah, on the whole, I think that every single game should be Dark Seal early, and then if you get... Oh, come on, Faker. So, what's happening here? So he's traded really hard again. Again, remember, he's gone for DMATs and he's gone for triple tonics. So he doesn't have biscuits, he doesn't have Second Wind, he doesn't have Scorch to trade back earlier to convince Showmaker to not go in there. He's traded on with Tibbers already. He gets a Q onto the last minion on the wave, and he just greeds for the last minion. And then that's a really nice play from Lucid to clean up the play. I mean, where does Lucid come in from? Wait a second. Wait, they see Lucid... Wait, he sees Lucid on the bot side of mid as well. He sees him right now. Oh, come on. So he sees him there. I guess if he... So he can't... Okay, so he can't go up... he can't go up this way, because then Showmaker could, like, just get a single auto and kill. So he has to dash and then flash this way. Ooh, clean from Lucid. Yeah, I mean, that's greedy from... I think Faker's early laning phase in both of these games has not been good. I think on the Talia, Showmaker took some really hard trades against him early on. I think Showmaker's... Okay, I think that Showmaker's early laning phase has been good. And I think that Faker has not responded very well to that pressure. He now does have the the early Merc treads, which stops those kind of players being available again. So it's going to be hard to find that one, but still. Showmaker getting, you know, first blood in this lane and kind of shutting down one of the big playmakers for the enemy team, which can then roam bot lane and make Lucian Sona's life kind of hellish is really not good. Where did he use that demon on? Use it on the backline. Ah, he greeds for a demon on the backline. Yeah, and you're not you don't have your like 3 points into Q yet, so you can't do this. He just eats DOT from staying near Tibbers like the whole time. He just greeds for the minions there, man. Yeah, he just greeds for minions. Just back off. There's no point dying for that. You can save your ult and your flash, and that would have been fine. Okay. Oh god. Okay. Well, whatever. You force the flash and heal out. That's okay. So at least Goomer and Keria are winning lane. I think if T1 ever have winning bot lane, I think they probably just win games, by the way. Like, on the whole, I feel like T1, if they ever win bot lane, they just win games. And they're winning this bot lane right now because they gave the last pick to Goomer and they stole the Nami away. I mean, if that's their answer to Lucian Nami, that's fine. So Rel's coming up, who... Okay. Managed to get away from that, that's fine. So, Showmaker doesn't have flash, but when he did use the flash, he had cooldown boots. So that means that he has the extra the flash cooldown. Ult on top side, he's on mini now. Forces flash. It's nice. It means that Zeus has some extra trade opportunities in the future. And it means that maybe Kingen has to play more respectfully as well on a champion that likes to be getting lane leads as well as them now. Okay, another Tibbers trade. This is what Annie does onto Ahri. You just like drop Tibbers whenever you can to stop Ahri from roaming out of lane. Because Ahri has teleport and has ult, you just know that you don't really want to have Faker to have playmaking in the next kind of stage. I think Showmaker, his job this series has been stop Faker doing stuff. And on the whole, he's done quite a good job of it in early game. We'll see if that goes later. But in early game, at least, Showmaker's early laning phase has been really, really good, and it stopped Faker from having like big value. He steals that as well. Wait, does he? Oh, he does get it. Damn. Ah, wow. He's actually quite far ahead of Owner in terms of... well, I mean, he's got first blood, and he's got a lot of jungle farm up as well. What happens there in top lane? Ooh. I mean, if you pop the ult and you hit the first Q, I think that's probably dead. But, yeah. Okay, Lucid bot side. He's on vision here. Alright, all good. Excellent! Oh my gosh, thanks for the sub. I really appreciate it. How you doing? Long time no see. It's been a long time. I hope you're doing well. Excellent. I used to cast this dude. Hope you're doing well. A fine AD carry indeed. Oh, coughs as well if you're still around. Thanks for the follow. I've been less good at following up on that because I don't have my alert box active. Okay, what's happening here? So, Lucid is making this play with pushing bot lane. Annie not in lane, has teleport so we can teleport to the play if there's a big kind of conversation. Faker has love. Oh shit! Oh my god! I've just pressed 0, didn't I? Oopsies. Let's go find that again. Oopsies. That was a bit of a mess. Where were we? Is it around about here? Oh yeah, so this will be just... Oopsies, that's bad. If I press 0 on my keyboard, then things go badly. Okay, I'm going to get myself a spoiler about what happened then. That's great. Good job, Alex. You did wonderful there. Okay. Okay. What's happened after this? Oopsies. Waiting for my meeting for official game today. How am I doing? Yeah, I mean, I'm doing okay. I'm tired. I had a lie-in today, which is why I didn't do all of my LPL series today. Okay, so you have pushing mid lane, pushing bot lane. Showmaker's on reset. Follows him over. There's a teleport ward. So even though mid lane is pushed in, it feels like Showmaker with flash, with a dark seal as well, has a really good chance to snowball off of this. So... I mean, this is really good. This is really good warding from, this is a really good warding from D+ to give them that ability to like, look for these big plays. Typically, T1 have been really good at denying this kind of vision. I feel like over the last couple of games I've been watching, T1 have not been as good at like denying vision and securing their own to like make sure that they have the information battles looking for this. I think this is why their early games are looking a bit more sketchy. So Owner's getting absolutely wailed on because you got first item Lee Sin, who's got a really big lead. He has a Sundered Sky, like he's a level up, he's got huge stats. Teleport coming in from his, even though you have winning bot lane. Bubble hits, that's fine. Like Showmaker absolutely massacres the... Where did that ward even come from? You know what? Let's go back and let's see where that ward came from. Does that come from when they put... Oh, so, I mean, you know that... Wait, hang on. Hang on, guys. You know that ward is there because he used it to steal the Gromp. Folks, he used it to steal Gromp. I mean, T1, if you didn't clear that out... Did he not clear that out? Owner's sweeper just ran off. I think that's really greedy from T1. I think T1's vision game has really fallen off recently. And this is a problem, because it's a part of how they made a lot of their big plays. Because Lucid goes in, he gets the steal. You literally see him ward hop out to a ward. as he steals the Gromp. You know that's there. And so that means that even when you have pushing bot lane, pushing mid lane, Faker should be calling that Showmaker is recalled. He has teleport, he's going to have gold advantage in terms of, like, he's backed more recently than Faker has, so he has more combat stats. And Lucid comes back from phase from first back as well. So D+, they're taking this fight with a hugely powerful jungler, more powerful mid lane, even despite the being level down. And, like, Showmaker just completely massacres them. Also, a big thing about this too is that Caitlyn never really wants to be walking backwards in a fight like that. She doesn't want to be having to dodge out and Lucian Cullings. That's not how he wants to play, really. Okay, Faker still has ult. He might still be able to kill. But I think with Sundered Sky, the healing's actually really nasty. And he has he doesn't have Merc Treads, but yeah. Okay, he's teleporting bot side. Teleport saves Guma's life. That's something at least. Wait, can he flash ult maybe? No. Ah, no. It's an overstay. Double stun from Showmaker. Ooh, shit. The Sona healing's actually legit. And also, right there as well, another thing too. He also gets the damage down on Faker. The arcade skin shows you really visibly what it is. He gets, like, the power cord onto him with that. I mean, not that the actual... It's actually the damage down comes down onto him after he's already been DPSing anyway. Guma very nearly kills there, but Sona OP, I guess. Oh my god, they lose that as well. This all comes off of the back of T1 not playing the vision game well. All of this is vision game not being played well. And that is not something I would have been saying a couple of weeks ago. I do think, okay, so I mean, just to balance this out, I do think that D+ have been doing really well around Lucid about invading into the enemy jungle and getting that vision. So this, I don't want this to just be a T1-sided kind of like perspective thing with that. I think that T1 have been playing much more poorly around vision than they have been in previous weeks. I do think, though, that D+ have been doing very well, particularly around Showmaker and Lucid in the early game, at getting the early vision to make sure that T1 are actually threatened when they wouldn't have been in previous series. So it's a bit of both. This one, we've seen this before. We don't have to talk about this again. So it's a bit of both. I think that stuff like this is egregious. And and the saving grace for T1, as it so often is just bot lane being brutally overpowered. It's a lethality Caitlyn as well. I hadn't even gotten around to saying that yet. It's so Taylor Blaze Caitlyn, it's not even just for the early laning phase. It is completely brutal. If Caitlyn hits you with, if you hit anyone with CC, this champion just absolutely annihilates you. Like, Lucid actually needs to be careful here. Like, he needs to be careful. He actually gets one shot if he gets hit by enough stuff. If he gets hit with the Caitlyn E into like a trap, if Carrier has some CC as well, then like that's nasty as hell. Okay, so Fake has a Dark Seal now, so that's good. Better late than never. Showmaker's gonna be fed as hell. Oh, wow. Ow. Yeah, lethality hurts, man. Okay, just outburst Lucian now, I think. I think with lethality, if you're trading auto for auto, then yeah, I think Caitlyn beats out. Yep, I think this is quite intelligent, actually. I've seen a lot of the Storm Razor and stuff into the Lucian where you look to play around wave control as the Caitlyn, because correct Caitlyn with attack speed tends to just auto-attack waves better. Even though, and it means you can save some of your abilities for the trade rather than onto the wave to clear it. Because lethality Caitlyn kind of needs to use abilities on the wave to wave clear. But I think with this build, if you ever jump at Caitlyn, she just shreds you. Okay, so Ari has hyper wave clear now. That's the faker, buddy. We all saw that. Oh, is that to stop Showmaker? Did he spot Showmaker though? So he throws... If Carrier spots Showmaker though, that's very intelligent. If not, then that's not great. Carrier... What is happening with Carrier recently? Well, no, I know that's not... That's too much. That's too much. But there's been a couple of moments where I've seen his tidal waves and I've thought, maybe that's not as valuable as it could be. So maybe he's trying to predict the flash or the hop out here. So, and then, again, tries to get the flash predict. I think Carrier outplays himself. And Kingen just dances around him. The thing about Mininar is that once you got fleet footwork and hyper running, you have so much movement speed to not have to second guess yourself in terms of those mind games. T1 Academy is out of Spring Blast? Damn. It's a big loss for them, I guess. Especially with, yeah, how prestigious their Academy rosters have been in the past. Okay, so T1, they are still able to push out some of these lanes if they get to them. They move away in... Oh no, dude. Sham's not going to lead to that much, okay. So can T1, because it looks, look at the blue wards on the map right now. D+ have a lot of control over vision. They have one item on Lucian. He's gone for Kraken Slayer and not gone for Shiv. I think that's a mistake, maybe. I think that Shiv is just the infinitely better item on AD carries right now. I mean, Kraken Slayer is a nice burst because, you know, you get some through so many procs with your double tap, but I feel like it's a mistake when your job is to contest mid lane prior against a Caitlyn. You want to just make sure that neither wave is alive ever. And then to see if it can get like a big burst combo. We went through this. We went through this already. Couldn't Carrier hold R and use each slow first. I mean, with the flash, you're likely not hitting your ult anyway unless you mind game the flash. Yeah, maybe though. Yeah, I think that Carrier had just lost the mind game there. Oh yeah, this is a big thing as well. Hang on, this is a big thing. By the way, this item build from Annie is absolutely nuts. You have 7 Dark Seal stacks as well. So when Tibbers is on you, the Malignance continually procs, and then that burn procs the Loreley's as well. So if you're ever in range of the Tibbers, you just get absolutely destroyed. This is the thing that we used to see with Leandri's Rylai's from last year. And what would happen is, if you drop the Tibbers and just run it, say in this game against Caitlyn, if Caitlyn ever gets near to the Tibbers, she is just permanently burned down and slowed, and you never get to go away from it. It's so annoying. Because if you're an AD carry, or actually this is another thing too, when you get hit by the Molten Shield, which is obviously Thornmail for Tibbers, if you have Molten Shield on, if you auto-attack Tibbers to try and burn it down, then you get slowed by the Rylai's. So, Tibbers doesn't already slow, no. Okay, as they get the top lane dive. So, what happens here? Oh, I mean, so there's a reset coming out from mid lane. You know what? I think this is where D+ have really started making a lot of mistakes. When we get into mid lane, mid-game, rather, I think that T1 are much better at syncing up their waves. So right now, Faker is contesting a dangerous champion topside because Annie can actually threaten. But then, Goomer and Carrier, because they have a pushing lane, they shove in and they move with their jungler onto one side of the map towards their strong side. Zeus isn't under threat. He's safely on his side of the map. He has enough vision to make sure that he's okay. Whereas on the other side, Aiming and Callan, they've just reset and they can't answer to anything that T1's doing on the map. You really want Aiming and Callan, but just deleting waves so Goomer and Carrier can't just leave the lane. But because Goomer and Carrier get to, leave, and influence the map, it's a huge problem for them. They get to walk into topside jungle, the blast cone makes this, yeah, that's the cherry on top, but, I mean, the reason this happens is because Aiming and Callan and Lucid are so far behind what Ona, Goomer, and Carrier want to do. Wait, did Tibbers miss that? Oh, no, it doesn't. It does actually hit. But, you've got the Merc Treads, there's very low chance that you die now. Ooh, but they don't get the kill. Okay, kick it. Oh, the crescendo misses. I mean, Guma dies anyway, right? Okay, alright, he lives. The extra HP from Rylai's keeps Showmaker alive. So, does he miss Charm? Though he does hit the Charm. But where's Guma? Why did Guma not oh, he doesn't have ult. So Guma doesn't have ult, so what's Guma doing here? Okay, so Guma's not here for the initial play. He dips back. What's he doing there? Why does he take that back step? Does he want to just hang back to clear mid lane and just assume that the 3-man unit can kill? So he dips back. He doesn't have ult. And then he steps over vision. Yeah, they needed Guma for the play, I guess. I mean, that's with Carrier hitting everything again this time. The damage onto Faker means that he can't stick around for the back end of that play as well. And then Guma is late to the play topside. Wait. Hang on, but Guma knows that... I mean, they see... So right now, he sees where Lucid is and he sees where Kellen is. So he knows that there's a rotation topside. And yet he's so the player's off. The player's off here, and he doesn't have ult, and yet he just decides to walk towards this wall. And you have a ward in that tri-brush now to know that Lucid is around. So you know you're potentially under threat. That, to me, I think that he just has to not walk that way and just walk straight this way. You have flash, you have E. You shouldn't be under threat if you walk up that way. But because he gets too close to Lucid, it means that Lucid is actually within, like obviously in, like, a very, very good position to kind of threaten Guma without him being able to react with flash or E or something like that. So that's a freebie. And now you can use... Oh, okay. Do you get the kill there? That's really well played from Mana. Yeah, okay. That's nice. Zeus is also backing off, so he can teleport in as well. Maybe Zeus can teleport in for some cleanup kills now. That is so nice, because what you're looking to do here as Showmaker is use Tibbers to tank the turret before the wave is here, which allows you to die for another couple of kills. And you can do that because, like, you actually have quite a high health Lee Sin and Kellen and Aiming are there. So the thing is, Showmaker is way too low HP. This is a very good opportunistic play from T1. Like, oh no, just finds that angle. That's really, really good. Culling also goes wide. What happened with that, actually? I mean, the Culling's whatever. He didn't need that Culling to kill Caitlyn, actually. Maybe he did. Maybe he has to flash afterwards. I think that's fine, actually. Yeah, that's good. I like that play. It's good. Tibbers goes a bit mental, but now they don't have the ability to push the wave into the turret, and Tibbers is gone, so they can't tank the turret. Actually, Aiming, shuffling that wave in means they're still in danger. Zayas could teleport. I think they're safe. Clears the wave. Charm's back up. So now with Charm back up, you can't do anything here, I'm pretty sure. Are they trying... Wait, so Kingen doesn't have teleport, Showmaker doesn't either. That ward there is just to see whether Zayas is coming, I guess? Or maybe it's some extra mobility for Lucid as well. It can be both, I suppose. They're just trying to stop some recalls. Basic cooldowns are back up. That's... I mean... He doesn't die for it, but he's kind of lucky. I mean, I guess he's lucky that he has Sundered Sky and Murktreads. And these trio do, like, entirely magic damage, so... Yeah, I mean, I guess Aiming and Callan also aren't close enough to do this as well, so... T1 get out from this. They lose themselves mid lane and top lane out of turrets. So, D+ still walk away happier from this. They take towers. I mean, yeah, so this is, overall, despite the fact that, you know, Showmaker gets caught out at the end of that, this is still a good play for down one. They have mid lane, they have all outer turrets down. They've protected their top lane turret. They do lose 5 Dark Seal stacks onto Showmaker, which kind of sucks. It's a shutdown as well, which went on to Faker. So this is still, yeah, so there are some bad things to this, but killing Goomer as well and making sure that there's no answer in mid lane if he'd stayed there, or there's no ability for him to kind of back up the rest of the team, that's good. I think, honestly, Showmaker should have just stayed back and then just used Tibbers to dive the turret and allow Aiming to walk up instead of him, because he was full HP. But still, overall, it's still a positive play. Now the question is, what can they do with the extra map pressure? So this is so basically, because Kingen just pushed up the entirety of bot lane, went mid lane, pushed the entirety of mid lane. there's a good chance that there is a ward around somewhere. There's a sweeper on here, but because mid and bot lane have been pushed up so far, it's quite likely that down one, after the next player's kind of come through, or like is about to come through, they've got a ward somewhere. And they have what, I mean, Owner's on vision here. Yeah, and basically Lucid uses the fact that bot and mid lane were both pushed up by King in the last play to kind of get himself into the enemy jungle unseen, because T1 have not been on the bot side of the map for very long. And it means that they don't have, say, vision control again. And once again, T1 fall prey to it with the vision control. So T1 dies. Zez is right in the middle of things, though. Okay, so Owner's caught out because of the vision control being played around from down one. He's kicked into a lot of squishy members. It's a lot of ults used onto Owner. He gets cleanse and flash out of aiming because I think the Nami ult coming across the other side of this, that's really nasty. And now a lot of your ultimates are down. Faker has flash, he has ults. Okay. Yeah, he gets the charm, yeah, and then you have resets. Caitlyn's not got the best DPS. Nice. Yeah, cool. That's really good from Faker. I think you can just use your ult, your second ult to get away there now. Oh no, you can't actually. So Faker makes a mistake here. Faker makes a mistake. This is Ahri specific mistake. Ahri against Lee Sin. Tattooed Deity. Thank you so much for the prime. I really appreciate it. So Faker makes a mistake here, and Ahri Lee Sin is a very fun matchup. It's probably the mid to jungle matchup that I have played the most in my life. I've played Ahri more than any other champion, and I played against Lee Sin over 10 years at this point. So there were points where Ahri Charm didn't stop dashes. Now, of course, it does. In this case as well, so I don't like Horizon Focus on Ahri that much. In this case, it helps him, though, because he has vision onto Lucid. You don't need to use your charm here. The only way you die is if Lee Sin can follow a kick. And because Lucid has used his ward hop, he can't change the direction of where he's going. So what Faker needs to do here is dash away. He has full vision of this, and he just charms behind him as soon as that animation starts, and he should be fine. But because he uses his charm early, then the Q's already connected. It doesn't matter if the Q initially connects. It only matters that he could follow it. And if he follows that, then it's bad. So Faker uses his charm too early. He should have saved it, and that would have been fine. Also, if this is really sad because Carrier big brains the fuck out of this. If Faker can dash over the wall, then that bubble was in a perfect timing for him to catch Lee Sin before the Q connects, and then Caitlyn can kill him. So Carrier very nearly saves Faker if he had ult over that wall too. So worth noting as well that Ahri's lockout on her ult is about 1 second after you cast it, 1.5 seconds or so. So you can't just immediately cast it all the time. So you would have dashed, then dashed again. There's like a slight pause, but yeah, that's a mistake. You have to hold on to your charm versus Lee Sin, especially once you're connected with that first Q, and you hope that he doesn't have ward hop to change the direction of it, because his mobility is very fast. His ward hop and his follow up on the Sonic Wave is very fast, so it can actually be quite hard to reactively do it. You kind of have to kind of see it coming, but you know he doesn't have ward hop at that point, I'm pretty sure, and he doesn't have a ward to put down anyway, so he would have been flying straight as an arrow. So a bit of a mistake there from Faker, although this isn't... Oh, actually, you know what? Just because I'm talking about Ahri, I'll talk about this too. Does this matter here? One of the good things about Horizon Focus is that Ahri's ultimate doesn't target people that are out of vision. You need vision on them. Horizon Focus gives you vision, which means that even when they back off into brushes or out of sight... So like right here, Horizon Focus on it, you can dash. If he was out of vision, it wouldn't have necessarily landed there as well. Yeah, it's an easy play to make in the replay, but damn hard to see in real time. So, yes, I agree with that in general. Most of the time when you're seeing things in replay, that's true. And, you know, I can sit here and I can say, yes, this is X, Y, Z. This is, however, one of the most important things about this mid to jungle matchup. This is like, I mean, Ahri Lee Sin is a matchup which Faker's been playing for 10 years as well. So, yeah, and you have to save that charm. Like, a charm before that, the thing about is if you hit the charm after the Q connects, particularly with Merc Treads and some Tenacity from Legends Tenacity if he's going for that as well. Although Lee Sin often goes for Legends Alacrity as well to weave in autos a little easier. But either way, he's going to have some Tenacity. And it means that your charm will never be able to time out the Q duration, especially if you hit it just after that as well. Oh, in terms of Carrier's bubble. Right. Oh, right, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah. For Carrier's thing, Carrier almost smurfed the fuck out of that. God, like, Carrier is absolutely insane. But, I mean, Faker, good kill on the other side of that. Really important that he kills aiming. I mean, yeah, Carrier has actually been on point with all of these bubbles to try and stop out Lucid. Okay, so, significant gold lead for D+. Actually, beyond this as well, Herald has to be summoned in base. Magic, welcome to the chat. So T1 have to summon this in base. And you can see that Goomer and Carrier, they're struggling to impact the fights when they're so mobile. Like, you can get out of tidal waves, you can get out of trap lines, and out of Caitlyn Qs and stuff like that. It's not good, folks. It's not good. We're suffering here. You're suffering with me. Yeah. Let's get back to it. What happens here, man? Why does he do this? Is this a choice or does he just miss it? So he gets onto the right angle. There's a Sona there. Oh, come on. Can't believe it, man. Ah, pain, pain. It is what I know. Oh, God. It's really painful. Shortly after Ari rework, I saw Closer use 2 Ari ult charges without the cooldown in between the 2 charges. If you could show me the VoD to that, I would love to see that. I would imagine it was a bug. Okay, we've been through this before. We've been through this. Oh, shit. As we come out of this, Zeus is... What? This is one of the most annoying things about professional broadcast when we don't have pro view. I wanted to see how this came about. Now, you know, like, we've just had a big fight on the bottom half of the map. Zeus has obviously returned back towards bot lane. How did D+ reset to get towards this fight? What did they use for it? So they've used Tibbers. So Zeus dies in the side lane. And that means that Showmaker can push up towards bot side. Now that means that T1 don't have a teleport from their top laners to bring up towards Baron. One of the big threats that D+ need to be aware of, because they've been really good at stopping this right now, is that if they start flitting around sides of the map, Zeus might be able to find a flank angle, and with 2 lethality items, this could be really hellish for them. So Zeus is down. T1 can't start Baron because they're not confident in their ability to finish it. They don't have great Baron DPS either. Lethality Caitlyn is not good at killing Baron. Ahri is also not great at either unless you build a Liandry's. So D+, good kill on the bot side. It's a good angle for them. They know that T1's Baron speed is not fantastic. And they get themselves a kill and a bot lane in a turret. I think Showmaker has been playing really well in this inning. He's been good at finding his picks. So they use... Okay, the smite blows the spell shield, so he can't... Yeah, so if it was Showmaker on his own, he wouldn't have been able to blow that spell shield because, you know, he would blow his stun in blowing the spell shield as well. Big damage out of Caitlyn. Gangster Rilda's next, I guess. Oh, this is fun. I like this. I like this a lot. Item value. Yes, this is good. I like this. This is a fun thing to throw in there. That's cool, because it shows, like, how much value is in items. And also it shows, like, so for instance, if someone's been buying a load of pink wards, right? You can show that as well. It's not always indicative of this. But you can see that, you know, even though Zeus is ahead of Kingen, their actual item value is the same. And not that that always matters, right? Because some items are more valuable than others. But especially for certain champions at certain points in the game. Like Rel, these items obviously is going to be very different from someone like a Caitlyn with the same amount of gold or whatever. Or like in terms of items to item breakpoints. Ugh, okay. This is my last Red Bull. I'm going to need more caffeine. So T1, they really need to get some safe pushing lanes. I think what D+ have been doing really well at is... Phaeton, thanks for the follow. They've been really good at punishing T1 before they can get the chokehold in place. Like this. This is exactly the same kind of thing that we saw before, where Ona's trying to get vision control, Showmaker flies over the blast cone, and they look for picks like this. It doesn't lead up to much in this case. Does he die for this? He just... I mean, Lee Sin is really, really vulnerable when once he jumps into the Caitlyn Nami. So D+, in most of their fights, have been really good at making sure they don't dive in too close to these guys. But they're trying to stop T1 from getting like a clean setup of vision and pushing lanes. They want to punish Ona by killing him just if they kill Ona, then it's a Baron start. They have Tibbers to give some extra vision as well. They don't see the trap. They don't see the trap. Does that get to arm? Hang on, wait. So let's have a look. Does it stop the damage coming through? It does! Oh, the Caitlyn trap stops the dash and they didn't have vision of it. Yeah, that's really clutch from Guma. That's so clutch from Guma. Oh, that would have killed. And does he die now as well? Yeah, he does. Oh, that's a disaster. That's a disaster for Lucid. That's a disaster. What's my favorite type of cheese? Poppy and Nivea. No, I really like mozzarella. I like mozzarella a lot. Or buffalo, or burrata. I like the things you can melt onto other stuff. Oh, God. Yeah, Kamizda, if you find that clip, I don't know whether I can watch it on the stream because send the link in the, you send the link in the timestamp. I think it's okay to do that. And I'll watch it at some point. Maybe I'll watch it between this game and the next game. Just because I want to see the bug in terms of using 2 Ariel's charges soon. Like in close proximity. Cool. I'll watch that in a bit. But this is so close, man. It's the Caitlyn trap that stops the dash. I think that D+ needs to be very careful about engaging too close to the Caitlyn and the Nami. If you dive into the Caitlyn Nami onto another target which isn't them, so they can actually stand and fight, it is so much damage, man. Okay. Right, Faker, I would imagine he's going towards the Banshees, by the way. I think Banshees is really valuable for him this game. There's no one that he can't kill, even if he goes Banshees. I mean, Banshees is still 120 AP. Okay, so again, T1. They're just hyper-teleporting mid to just like... Okay, so... Dragon's up now. They want to get... The problem is that even though they get that kill onto the jungler, they don't necessarily get themselves the pushing lanes that they want. They're still delayed in their setup. D+ are first into river bot side. They're teleporting into river bot side as well. Kingen's going to have Mega Gnar on a pretty good timing. They're down to 2.5k gold. It's Soul for D+ if they get it. Showmaker does have flash, and the vision control from T1's not fantastic. So there's a chance that Showmaker can have like a huge play. How much value can Guma and Carrier get? So Kingen teleports in. Do they see Showmaker? Do they see Showmaker? Or is this completely blind? Zeus sees him now. So Zeus sees Showmaker on the flank there. So they know he's out of position. So this is really important, right? So we're gonna, because if you see a jump forward from Ona and Faker, they know that they have like 2-3 second window before Showmaker can engage. They don't see this teleport off of Fog of War, but they should know he's not Mega Gnar. So they know that it's Mini Gnar for a while. So what that means is that if T1 go for a flash engage, D+ don't have immediate response. Aiming dash is over. He has no dash. He has cleanse and he has flash. So gets off from that. That's really good. Yeah. So as soon... Yeah. So Zeus hops over the wall. He sees... I mean, actually Faker dashes in before that. But he knows he has like a slight window of opportunity. Flash charm. Misses it. But it's still the right angle. He misses the charm, but it's the right timing. Also, really, really clutch play here as well on the other side of this, because the tidal wave comes down here to stop the front line from D+ from getting into position 2. So Ona and Faker, good job of getting onto the carries at the right point. I think that Aiming and Callum play very poorly around their front line at this point, or Lucid plays very poorly around his back line. It's one of the two. Showmaker's out of position. He can't immediately CC. Lucid's not in a position to kick someone away, or at least threaten the backline or threaten Faker as he jumps in. King is not Mega Gnar. Like, Aiming and Kellen have no business positioning like this. As soon as the E backward is here, they are so screwed, actually. He should never stick around for this. He's trying to die for a ward. He dies for a ward, you know. I mean, can he walk this way and at least get behind Lucid? Can he get behind Lucid? Ah, that's bad. He just dashes into frickin' Faker's active range, man. He doesn't even get hit by the charm, and it doesn't matter. That it sucks. God damn, that sucks for him. And then you've got resets. So Showmaker, who had good vision, they had a gold lead. They had Showmaker off of vision with flash and ultimate with a load of gold. This should have been D+'s fight. But okay, so this is again two sides of it. I think Aiming and Kellen out of position. T1 really well punished, like really well punished. Thinking about it, I'm not sure about that TP. Where else could you teleport to? Your mini Nas, you can't teleport into the middle of things. There's no wards behind you to teleport to. Not in a good position. You can teleport to the control ward, or you can teleport to the vision ward. This is the best option they have. It's the best option they have. And we saw this one. We saw this already. So that stops Soul. It gets them gold back into the game. Does it get them Baron? They don't have great Baron speed. And they won't have time to reset before and spend their gold before this fight. They're going anyway, because D+ don't have... Well, they haven't been able to get the huge... They know one ward is behind them, so they need to be a little careful of Showmaker teleport. Okay, King is now Mega Gnar. Maybe they were hoping for a teleport. They don't get it. So now they get slow resets. There's a chance that D+ can now start Baron themselves and look for a Revenge Baron. We need to get through this replay. They might actually just immediately Baron afterwards. In fact, they are. Yeah, you can't go into a replay at that point. They're immediately going to Revenge Baron. So T1, they don't have teleports. Owner has to get into the play. This was the risk of T1 going towards Baron. I don't think they realized that their Baron speed was as slow as it was. So Faker's off of vision. You can get a good charm here. Gets it onto Showmaker, so Showmaker... Oh my god, and it's the Baron steal as well. Oh, this is really good because... That's really good. I love this from Faker, by the way. Because Faker could get instantly one-shot, so he immediately stopwatches to make sure... So, and he does actually dodge out on the Crescendo. The Crescendo doesn't actually get value onto him. That was good. And, you know, Showmaker's not going to be able to pop his ultimate on him because he's CC'd in the charm. Owner gets in for the bloody steal as well. How the hell does this happen? By the way, Rel is one of the best Baron stealers in the game. Oh, God. And Zeus gets a flank as well. It's like a three-pronged assault from T1. So they almost burn it down in time. I think Showmaker makes a mistake by not going to... Well, how much value does Showmaker need to get? If he positions too far, Zeus kills him. Also, he can't blow through the Edge of Night without blowing through his stun as well. I guess he's just there trying to burn down the Baron ASAP because they're trying to get it in a good timing. But Rel is so good at killing Baron with EQ. Yeah, that's game. You've just lost Dragon, you've lost Baron, you've completely shit the bed in this one, folks. The Sona ult, this Sona ult, I'm gonna praise Faker from this rather than, like, say, Kellen messes up. Because Faker, I think he wins the mind game, right? He's dashing in from off of vision, he gets his combo, and he immediately Zhonya's knowing that, knowing that Kellen is likely going to immediately try and turn around CC him and CC him into death. So, watch this. Oh, wait, he's trying to do it on Owner as well. Oh my god, no, that is quite bad, actually. Because he isn't even aiming for... No, you know what? He's not even aiming for Faker. He's aiming for Owner and he misses him. Because if he aims for Owner, he can't EQ into the smite. Because if he hits Owner with that, he can't combo. And... Oh... Ah, that's just bad. That's just bad from Kellen. Yeah. I think he tries to hit Rel. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. Also, another thing here too, because Lucid is CC'd while Owner is jumping in, Lucid can't connect with a Q to hit the Baron or refollow a Q if he had it on. I actually didn't check. Did he have the Q on it? Yeah. Yeah. That's a mess. That is a mess amongst messes. And as soon as one person is dead, like the resets from Aatrox ult, the resets from Ahri, it's just a mess after that point. I love Korean casters. I love Korean casters, man. They're so good. Triple kill for Guma? Yeah. So, T1. I'm still not convinced about how they played their vision control this series. I think that Showmaker had a really good early laning phase to stop Faker from playing the early game, but Faker played well in the mid to late game in both of the games. I think that the vision control affected multiple things. I think that it affected top lane, where Zeus kind of got set behind. Okay, teleporting in. Not very high HP. Faker only has one ult charge left. He's over vision. Oh, the charm. Oh, that's bad. So he has no flash because he used it in the last play. He has ults in a second. He doesn't have it now. He doesn't have it now. So he doesn't even have ult at the start of this. He has it now. And he tries to use his ult to block the charm. Yeah, he tries to use his ult to block the charm. We'll get like an initial CC. Maybe, yeah. He goes too early. He goes too early. I mean, it's a good teleport angle. You just need your frickin' ult, man. Man. So Ariel doesn't fully reset, but every kill or assist that you get, I think it's within damaging within the last 3 seconds, maybe. It might be the, did they change that? I know they did for Viego. Yeah, I think it's within the last 3 seconds. You get a, oh no, it is kill and assist, yeah. You get an extra charge. And also, you get the empowered healing for killing a champion as well. So Ari's passive gives you healing when you kill an enemy champion. Kill and assist. Zest dies? Oh god, they don't even kill him. Damn. I mean, when he goes into Nami ults, what, this is just a mess. They've fallen apart. Yeah. That sucks. So now T1, they have Baron buff, they have a 5,000 gold power play. No worries. It's good info to have. Yeah, I love the way that Faker uses his stopwatch there, actually. That's very useful. Yes, DK first picked the Lucian, the Nami was taken away, and then they locked in Sona, and then the Caitlyn came in as last pick. So the Lucian came first from DK, and then the Sona was taken away. The Nami was taken away. And this Sona has been mildly okay in the early game. Hasn't really achieved much in the team fights. It's been hard. It's hard to play these team fights with Sona. We said that from the start of it. So Milia wasn't bad. I don't know. Milia, the Sona was here for lane priority, but then the last pick, Caitlyn like just destroyed them. So his last pick, Halo Blade's lethality Caitlyn. So. Is Halo Blade's cape better early? It's very strong early, yeah. Halo Blade's Caitlyn is why it was played in support. If you're going towards lethality anyway, then yes, Halo Blades gives you very strong auto attacks early. Particularly with Caitlyn getting a lot of stacks from bushes. It's nasty. Well, double buffs on both these. You got red buff slows. Ari Faker, buddy. You have Zhonya's. So what happens here? How does Faker die for free? So he doesn't have Caitlyn with him. So Dodge is back on one thing. You need to... yeah, I mean, he just doesn't manage to react to the Zhonya's in time. Good play from Lucid and Showmaker. But also, you have Zhonya's. You need to be aware that you're going quite deep. That sucks. I mean, it happens. It happens. Sometimes you just don't press your buttons quick enough. So King goes back and buys a GA after that point. I mean, I do think that on the whole, like the speed of plays has been very fast in this game, where we've had like very quick turnarounds and opportunistic moments, and I think that I think Lucid's had some good moments of that too. Okay, so T1, they have really good bot side vision control. They have pushing lanes courtesy of the Baron before this. They've pushed up the lanes before this. Caitlyn's back into lanes. Baron's coming up in 30 seconds. clearing out vision again. And this time, D Plus haven't been able to stop them from just getting up onto the map and getting vision control. You see that Lucid is walking up now, but he's actually chased out. Rel's actually very tanky. You can't pick her off nearly as easy as before. Carrier's walking up and just denying vision there. And D Plus, if they get a flank, if you get a flank teleport with a flash Annie, yes, that's very powerful. But it's very hard to get that now. Now they're the ones walking into Fog of War, and it's very, very hard to deny Zeus like a game-ending flank like he's trying to angle for here. Baron's up. Mid lane probably being fought over. And Zeus is off of vision. Yeah. Yeah, Zeus is off of vision. This is... Yeah, he's hopping in now, so this should be the game-ending play. Oh, come on, Faker. It happens to the best of us, I guess. And it's the right time to look for a play. If he gets the Charm Flash, then Zeus combos up and it's a free kill onto Kingham before he hits Mega. Wait, can you just take in hit for free? It's not like D Plus have got like ability to go wrap around him from multiple directions. Caitlyn traps are starting to get put down. There's a Merc Scimitar on Zeus. He's completed the full Mercurial Scimitar. Damn. Faker has death cap as well now, so next time he actually gets a fight where he's not burst out at the start of it, he's going to be really doing a lot of damage. There's no real tank on the other side that can deny him that damage. I mean, he doesn't have any magic pen in terms of, you know, Crit Bloom or Void Staff to deal with Kingan, so Kingan's going to be fine against Ari in particular, but the rest of the team, they do get one shot now. Bit of a slow burn now. T1 again. They're just not... They're setting up their vision lines, making sure that D Plus don't get like a freak engage angle onto them. D Plus pin themselves in the Baron pit. But they're opening themselves up to a flank to do this. They get the teleport out. Maybe that's all they want, but it feels like they're now forced into a fight. I don't know if you can force that hard into Zeus. I mean, he has Flash and he has Spell Shield. Showmaker can't get that Spell Shield for free. Showmaker, he's really not in a good spot here now. Okay, so now that Spell Shield's blown, but they've dashed forward into this. Nami Wave pins them into it. And as we said, you know, Ari actually has the damage now to carry the late game fights if they go into it. Gets another 3-man ult there. It's another big play. Gets himself a reset. It doesn't quite get the range onto aiming. Yeah. This is the problem of making too many quick plays against T1 here now as D+. Like, you're opening yourself up to flanks. Really, really good late game damage from Faker. And also, like, the Edge of Night against Annie means that Showmaker can't just deal with Zeus on the flank. It has to be Lucid blowing it with a flash or not a flash, a smite or something like that. So, I mean, I think that mid game, again, some more worries from T1 in terms of mid and early game. Some worries about vision control. And... no, credits to Showmaker and Lucid for having good play in early lane from Showmaker, and then also in terms of vision control and playing off of that from Lucid to make sure that T1 don't have clean early and mid games. That being said, feels like T1 were pretty good at recovering that later on with some clutch plays. And as soon as T1 get a... If T1 have a winning bot lane, it feels like Goomer and Carrier will always get themselves a chance to, can get that kind of chokehold over a game again. Right. Was the series between T1 and HLE 3 games? I think it was, right? God, I've signed up for a couple of games, haven't I?